So, how's everybody doing? Hope everybody's doing good.
You lose your hat. Did you?
Welcome everybody on Rumble. Welcome everybody on X. How y'all doing? Welcome to the Rebel Nation. I kind of got. It's what happens when you don't have a job and you get a lot of time on your hands. You start coming up with new shit. As you've. I don't want to have it. I don't have a hat. I'm hatless today. Why is it blind? Why is it blinding you?
No. I'm so used to seeing you in a hat.
I know you can tell because my face is tan and my head's white as a newborn baby's butt.
Wait, you got to go to Rudy Giuliani. Like dye that he uses on his head that leaked that one time. Give me a minute. I got to go get a cup of coffee. Mr. Beast for president. What the fuck?
Have you not seen all the posts? Start off with, ladies and gentlemen, make sure that we do have a new website up, rebelnationmedia.net. It's like a one-stop shop for everything we do. It's got all the podcasts. It's got all the information of upcoming shows, everything else. So if you guys go there, the link's up top in the bio on X. But it's rebelnationmedia.net. We're still setting up with some other cool stuff, but we'll have like a member section, kind of like a thread section, everything else. It'll be a full functioning website for cool shit to happen. We'll also be using it to use like for special events and stuff like that coming up later on towards the end of the year. So make sure you guys join. There's a membership thing. Click on the membership thing, join the membership. It's free to join right now. After the first of the year, I don't know. We'll see how many people join. Might end up putting a $5 charge on there. You never know. No, I'm just joking.
And also, everybody on X here, don't forget to hit that little arrow thing with the little, I don't know, it's like a receive box or like out box kind of looking thing.
But
make sure that you share this.
Yeah,
we're gonna have an argument today.
I started playing around. It's just like, I'll just make it. We usually have a good debate going on, so I just put it the American versus the Canadian. That's right. That's our new tagline.
Can I ask you, what is Rosie the Riveter? That sounds like a porn name.
Rosie the Riveter was a character that with a bandana and
with the pinup. You know what? I don't even know why they're fucking suggesting this when there's tons of women on social media now that are muscular.
Has nothing to do with that.
But how is it not?
It's woman empowerment. Has nothing to do with physical appearance.
She was a pinup girl, though.
No, she was a poster back in the 1940s during the World War II when all the men were going and fighting. The government made this propaganda campaign to try to get women into the workforce because there was no men to work. So they created Rosie the Riveter as a character for woman empowerment, or not woman empowerment. It's changed over the years, but that's not what it was originally created for. It was created as an advertisement.
And Katy Perry brought it back with her latest drop of her video that she did.
Yeah, I mean, she's using it, the Rosie the Riveter, in a point to where, I mean, because back in the day, it was not, the Rosie the Riveter had nothing to do with feminism, had nothing to do with anything. I'm sorry, girls. It didn't. It had nothing to do with that. Rosie the Riveter was an ad campaign created by the government during World War II to try to get more women out into the workforce. So one, they could still collect taxes, and two, they still had people work in the factories. It had nothing to do with woman empowerment. It had nothing to do with what you all are doing now with feminism and stuff like that. It was 100% propaganda.
Her video, all it proved to me at her age is that she's all natural.
But
like no augmentation, no cosmetic surgery. At this point in my life, that's all that I saw in the video.
I mean, so yeah, I mean, Rosie, like I said, for the young ones that don't know who Rosie the Riveter is, boom, 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 boom.
I mean, she's still a very pretty woman. Katy
I
Perry.
mean, yeah, everybody's like, oh, she's a pinup girl. Oh, wait a minute, gun's not here yet. Hold on. There we go.
Well, I mean, she is a pin. What we would classify as
Yeah.
a pinup girl, basically.
I mean, oh yeah, I
She
mean,
was created to kind of give this offset that, like, if you come and work, you're going to be a manly woman.
well, yeah. I mean, it was basically, I mean, it was a woman empowerment speech, you know, sitting there saying they created this advertising campaign to sit there and say, you know, the whole slogan was "We can do it," you know, because they were wanting to,
Bring their boys home.
well, they were wanting to get the women out into the workforce, into the factories and everything else, because everybody was fighting, so there was nobody at home to man the factories. But I mean, it was a good thing, because if it wasn't for women going into these factories and actually doing this kind of stuff, we'd have probably lost the war, because there wasn't anybody to keep up with production and everything else. And that's what caused, or that's what helped the war effort to the point of getting, you know, ammunition over to the soldiers, getting, you know, all the vehicles, the tanks, everything else. But they also worked over there. They became part of the, they created a fuck, I can't find it now. I'm so prepared. Oh, come on. Why can't you work? I love my computer. I just love my computer. It's just got to last me until, hell, I don't know when now. But, so, like I said, it was during World War II, and they did other things. I mean, they went overseas and worked in the Army Nurse Corps. They created, I mean, it created a lot of different things that still exist today, just not in the same aspect as it did back then. Like if you think about, like, in the military, the Army Wives, if you ever watch that show, that's a real thing. Army Wives have like a little group. They live on base or something like that, or if they're all connected, there's a group of women that make sure that everything's taken care of in the house and stuff like that for, like, new soldiers, families and stuff like that come over. But it did create a lot of good programs, you know, that are still in use today. But I mean, Rosie, during World War II, they had 16 women serving in the Army Nurses Corps that were killed due to direct enemy fire during World War II. They had 68 Americans listed. They think there was more, but there's not a lot of documentation. 68 American women died in various capacities related to the war effort, which means, you know, there's a lot of them that died in the factories due to factory mishaps and stuff like that. But my whole thing is, I mean, I don't think it's, I'm not like, you know, trying to say it's a bad idea, because I mean, it's just entertainment, you know, but I seen that and it's just like, okay, it's just like her video basically sexualizes Rosie the Riveter, sexualizes the time and the era, and it kind of loses the meaning of what Rosie the Riveter stood for back then, and what has stood for all the way up. I mean, like I said, when the feminist movement came in the 60s and stuff like that, the Rosie the Riveter kind of like transformed into woman empowerment, and it kind of like went on to that. So now, you know, with it's kind of been dead. I mean, I guess it's kind of like a political thing now, considering everything that's going on. But you also have this argument from some of the women, that don't want to, they don't believe in the feminist movement. So they're trying to, and we'll talk a little bit more about that tomorrow night, hopefully, if everything goes good. But, or not tomorrow night, Friday night. But no, I mean, I just think that the way that she has portrayed, Rosie the Riveter as a sexual icon, when that is not what she, I mean, like I said, I mean, everybody calls her a pinup girl, but she wasn't a pinup girl. I mean, I think she probably became one after everybody came home, but she never, this was the only thing this lady posed for that I know of, was this picture, that they drew. But the We Can Do It logo that they used was just to say that, women are capable of coming out and doing things. And I think it started the movement that slowly moved into what is the feminist movement, because women were in the workforce and everything else. And a lot of people think that women couldn't be in the workforce back in those days, but they could. It's just, it wasn't, it was more like telephone operators, secretary, clerks. So the ability for them to see an opening to get into more of a manly role back in the 40s, I'm not saying it was a bad idea. It did change a lot of things, and it changed a lot of perspectives on the way that we are seeing women today,
I think it's just history has turned it into a pinup girl, or categorized as a pinup girl, because back then it was more of a man's world, right? That like men decided that poster was what was going to represent a majority of women,
Oh yeah.
And I think that had a dual purpose. I believe that knowing that poster was also probably propagated out where they were in Europe, that it allowed more men to probably join the military, knowing that like, hey, this person is taking care of back home, right? That sexy woman is taking care. Like how many men in the military wanted to meet Rosie the Riveter? And I'm sure that there was probably a lot that got inspired to join the military because of Rosie.
No, I don't know if a lot of men got inspired to join the military because
She was on planes. She's been documented. Rosie the Riveter has been documented on like fucking fighter jets and
I know
whole
that.
whack of military things, right? So how is that not an inspiration to get up in the air and fucking take down
to fly a plane with a girl I mean, I don't know. I guess maybe some people do that. Maybe a woman does give them that kind of a wood to get up in the air and fight, but I don't know. I know it wouldn't affect me that much to say, I want to join the military because there's a woman on my plane.
Yeah, but you're also like, like their economy back then was far better than what it is now. Like,
oh yeah,
think about it. They were making what, $4 a month, and or probably more than that, $100 a month, and they were being able to sustain a whole family on that.
No,
it was probably middle class.
I mean,
I have the amount wrong, but
yeah, definitely, yeah,
yeah,
because you can't buy a car, raise a family of 3, and have a house on $100 a month. No, but
I mean, even like,
yeah, the idea
nowadays $1,000 wouldn't even fucking last you a week. And $1,000 back then probably could last you a while, or at least feed your family for the month.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, like I said, that's what I said it before on here. It's just like, you can back after World War II, when everybody came back, you could, buy a house, have a decent car, and work at a filling station and still support a family of 3. I'm not saying like you probably weren't like living paycheck to paycheck but you weren't struggling. So, I mean, and now today it's just like you can't even work at a filling station and afford to fill up your car. like I said, it costs, between my wife's truck, it costs about $60 a week to fill up my wife's truck. So that, times that times 4, that's almost $300, so that's just in fuel, and then another $200 for my truck. So that's, $500 in fuel alone that we're spilling or, spending. But like I said, did women getting out in the workforce during that day? Yeah, it was an economy boot. I mean, it kept the economy going for one, because like I said, they were in the workforce still helping the war effort by making sure that ammunitions and everything else were taken care of. But they were also stimulating the economy because they were paying, the government was collecting taxes from them. So, I mean, but that's why they call it the propaganda, the wartime effort propaganda, is because their main focus was, getting people into the workforce so they could collect their tax money. But then again, like I said, it stimulated the economy.
Right, but the controversy
or kept the economy going.
I don't even think that the controversy really is that Katy Perry is like objective using Rosie the Riveter in her video. It's who she's doing her album with. Apparently, is Dr. Luke is not the greatest person to like have on your album or to collaborate with when it comes to women's.
No, that's because of the sexual assault allegations he went through.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
but but there's still controversy over the fact that she's sexualizing an icon that wasn't a woman empowerment icon back in the day. That's not what it was created for. It's a staple of a country sticking together more than woman empowerment. Because, like I said, it was a propaganda to get women out of the home and into the workforce, to get them to go to work and fuel the economy.
In the man's view, though, and I think that maybe
View.
No, I think. Well, I mean, it was a man-made fucking poster, right? It was a think tank of men back then. It wouldn't have been a think tank of women.
No.
So I think that maybe changing the look of Rosie the Riveter and the origins of it, and trying to redefine it in a good way, or in a good way of any positive meaning. What's wrong with that?
Well, when you sexualize things, I mean, we already have way too much sexualization going on anyways, in my opinion. I'm not trying to get holier than thou, but it's just like, I don't know. It's just like, we kind of, when you start doing this stuff here, I mean, I'm nostalgic. I love history. I love nostalgia. I love things of old, and when you take things away, it's just like a movie. If you take an old classic movie like E.T. or something like that and try to do a sequel to it, it's probably going to suck. And, if you try to take old things and make them new, to me, that's not original. You're just basically copying and enhancing. I mean, why can't you be more original and use your brain that God gave you and come up with something a little bit more original? I mean, there's other things out there, but the fact of the song is a woman's world. I mean, I can understand why they use Rosie the Riveter, but I don't know. That's just my thoughts. Like I said, anybody can disagree with them. I don't care. It's my thoughts. You can't take them away from me. But no, that's just a little. I mean, the video hasn't even dropped yet. It don't drop until tomorrow.
Talking about, I've seen a video of it already.
But today's not the 11th.
X.
No, you saw a clip.
Oh, either way, I've seen like a portion.
No, yeah, that's called a clip. That's not the full length video. The video drops tomorrow. It says at 4 p.m. Pacific, so it's like 6 o'clock
again,
here.
Thank you, Elon Musk.
For what? How did Elon have anything to do with this?
I'm saying thank you because I've been watching a lot more videos of people smoking fucking pot.
Oh,
Just thank you.
freedom of expression, dude. But I mean, you can do it on just about any channel. You just can't like over. Well, on Kick you can because you can get totally drunk and stick a gun in somebody's mouth and that doesn't ban you. So, but no, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'll wait and see what the entire. I'm gonna watch it tomorrow when it comes out. Thank you guys for all the follows on X too. I know I lost a few today, but I gained quite a bit back today, so I appreciate you guys. But no, well, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, if you guys have any thoughts or whatever, don't hesitate to type in chat and say, hey, I disagree, I agree, this is what I think, whatever. We love that kind of stuff. Post it under the comment too on the video. The video I usually let the videos stay up for 24 hours and then I delete them. But, well, anyway, so the next subject, and then, I don't know, like I said, we'll wait and see tomorrow when the video comes out to see what it's actually all about. I mean, I like Katy Perry, don't get me wrong. Even though I do think that she's a cyborg, because she has glitched out on stage quite a bit.
What? What?
You didn't see those few clips of.
Hey, you know what? No offense to anybody, but I mean, she's hot. I don't care if she's a plant. I really don't care. How old is she now?
I don't think she's a plant.
How old is Katy Perry?
I don't know. You do know the conspiracy theory behind her, don't you?
What, that she's like a fucking Katy Perry 8?
No, that you remember JonBenet Ramsey? The case
she's
about
JonBenet?
Yeah, they think that's JonBenet girl because she looks like her. Some of her family looks like their family. I mean, there's a
look, man.
Yeah, JonBenet would be
years old.
JonBenet would be the same.
She still looks.
That's young.
I know it's young, but I'm just saying that, like you would kick her out of the fucking elevator if she was like hitting on you.
No, I'm sorry. Looks always ain't everything.
I'm not saying that.
I've seen some of her.
Was in an elevator and made advances towards you. I'm sure you.
I've seen some of the videos of her. No, she's kind of psycho. What? I've already been with a psycho once. I don't want to be with another one.
I'm sure that you'd say I'm happily married, but then have like great dreams for about a week.
Nope. That I can guarantee.
Okay.
Maybe you, but not me. I have standards. I do have some standards.
Oh, I got fucking standards.
Apparently not.
She's very good looking.
I'm not saying she's not.
Years old.
But like I said, looks ain't everything. Personality and characters where I find is more attractive than looks. Because like I said, if I'm going to spend some time with somebody, I don't want to be looking over my shoulder to see if there's a plate coming at me or something like that.
True, but at the same time, though, I think that like if you're somebody like Katy Perry, you probably have a pretty good personality. I mean, yeah, I can't see you being like a shitty person.
No, she is very toxic. Not toxic. She's very off the chain. There's been a lot of interviews. I mean, watch her on American Idol?
We're talking about Katy Perry here when we've gone through Cher, gone through Madonna.
like. Oh, I'm not saying I'm not denying that. I'm not denying that she looks good. I'm just sitting there saying, I don't. She's little.
Why isn't
she might be a little cuckoo?
Why isn't anybody ever canceled Cher for grooming? Because you clearly remember that video that live event on the USS. Right? Wasn't it the USS Reagan?
Because it wasn't a thing back then.
Yeah, she would have been like if she did that now.
I mean, what's the difference between this? This is no different.
Her
outfit is no different than Cher's.
Oh, right. and then we've also gone through Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera. Like, come on, this is
I
no
know.
different.
I just said that.
Yeah. No, I'm agreeing with you. It's no different.
But what I'm saying is, why are they not canceling her for looking like this? Why are they not canceling, half of these women that look like this for their videos and stuff like that? But then,
video, she flops boobs in front of everybody right now.
Because if Cher was grooming, she's grooming.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't call out one and not call out all of them.
Yeah, I'm sure that we're going to see a lot of ladies inspired to wear like a coverall kind of.
He doesn't get out much, ladies and gentlemen.
Outfit, yeah.
This is actually kind of a lot more clothing than what most women wear when they do things like that. I mean, now it's just like somebody was commenting. Who was it that was commenting the other day about? Oh, it was Megyn Kelly. She was commenting. She's like, "What happened to the bathing suits?" She goes, "It went from like one piece to two pieces to bikinis to like the skimpier ones, and then now it's just a piece of string that goes up your butt." It's like, well, you think about it, it's like you don't have to make, the material cost has to go down, because you're not using very much material. I mean, but I don't know. Well, like I said, we'll see. I mean, nothing against her video. I'm glad she's making it and everything else, but I think she could have. I think people need to understand, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but yes, it is. It's for entertainment purpose. It's their engagement, for people to buy our albums. But I think if they're going to be doing this, it's kind of like everything else. It's like especially if it's something like historic like this, people need to understand what the history was behind it. How many people died because of, or died or suffered or anything else because of the effort that this character was created from. I mean, it's not just a sexual icon. It's not a feminist trophy that they can use. There's some serious heartache and everything else in behind that character. And a lot of people, a few people lost their life, a few women lost their lives because of it and everything else. So that's what I'm saying. It's just need to understand the context of who she is and what it was used for. And like I said, for the fact of the matter that it was a wartime propaganda to get more people out into the workforce, to stimulate the economy, to make sure that everything was getting done. But, I mean, I'm curious. I mean, I'll watch it when it drops. Or not when it drops, but
she definitely takes a swig of fucking alcohol a lot better than JoJo Siwa.
Well, you got to take the lid. You got to take the lid off the bottle if you're going to drink it. And I could probably guarantee that it was probably iced tea that she's pouring.
What is going on with JoJo Siwa, man? JoJo Siwa is like turning into like Britney Spears.
More like Miley Cyrus.
No, Miley Cyrus went through a fad where she even admits that she went through like a fade in JoJo Siwa is on the border of.
Well, she's trying
to sign a fucking contract to fucking freeze her assets.
Yeah, and she'll be the next Britney Spears.
Yeah.
Conservatorship, yeah. But
the difference is that she possibly could kick the shit out of them for doing it.
Well, you have nobody to blame but the parents, because the parents are the one that got her in that, with that beauty contest reality show that they were on. And I mean, I can understand why she's doing it. She's doing exactly what Miley Cyrus did. She was trying to break away from Hannah Montana. Miley Cyrus did that so she could get away from Hannah Montana image and become more of an adult and become more of, but you got to realize those people grow up with you and their kids watch Hannah Montana and everything else. And, it's just like with JoJo Siwa, you've got her group her fan base has grown up with her, but now they have kids or possibly have kids that are watching some of the old stuff. And now she's doing this. I didn't condone what Miley Cyrus was doing because, Miley Cyrus like went totally into a self-destruction mode. But yeah, JoJo Siwa has got some. When she came out with that one, when somebody clipped that of her doing that one dance down in wherever she was at in the construction outfit, that's when I think everybody just kind of like totally lost it on her and started just like using her as the next meme of the history for everything she's done. But her little, what is that, Karma's a Bitch video that came out, she went a little bit, she went like from Miley Cyrus to Alice Cooper in like a heartbeat. It's just like, I was waiting for her to bite the head off of a bat or something like that.
Sorry to hear about Texas, by the way, man. I didn't realize that, like, it's weird that, okay, so Burl was like a category 2 and 1 when it hit Texas, right?
I have no idea.
And there's a ton of flooding going. It's just, I don't know, man. I just wanted to mention that because I've seen it.
Well, I mean, they don't. I mean, they get hurricanes down there, especially off the coast. But it's like this one here came in. I think it came in earlier. It's earlier than what the hurricane season normally is. The hurricane season's normally in September or August, September. So this is an early. That's the reason why everybody was like paying attention to the storm, because it was an early hurricane, and they didn't know exactly what. Yeah, because out in the ocean when I think when it went across Jamaica, it was like a category 5, and then it slowed down, became a category 3, 2, and then once it got back up, it increased back up into a category 3, and then hit landfall and jumped back down to a category 2. I think at one time in its path, it even broke down into a tropical storm, but it's just, that's the reason why they still do all the hurricane. It's kind of like tornadoes. They don't know exactly, they can't pinpoint the exact moment when one's going to take place. They don't know anything about them until they're already formed and ready to go, because then that's when they fly the plane in the middle of them. But yeah, I mean, it was kind of crazy. I think a lot of people got their power back on. I know I've seen some people on Twitter that lived down there said their power was back on. So yeah, so it peaked as a category 5 storm in the Caribbean, but borrowed Texas with flood, rain, destructive winds. Storm surged earlier this week, upending lives and causing billions of economical damage. The season's first hurricane unleashed deadly forces a week, ravaging Texas and Louisiana. Right now, they're estimating anywhere between $28 to $32 billion in damages. And guess what? We don't have any money because it all goes to Ukraine. Texas, and we just, that's another thing. They just met with, what's his name? And they're sending a shit ton of F-16s over to him now. Yeah, it says Texas took the brunt of Beryl as it crashed into the state before daybreak Monday, making landfall at a category 1. Yeah, as I know, when they first had the track was crazy. That's what I saw when they had the estimated track. It's like it was coming straight into the Gulf like they always do, and then it hit like Houston area and just did like a fucking 90-degree turn and started going northeast. They were supposed to travel like the storm front, or the eye was supposed to go all the way up into New York and shit like that. It's crazy. 2.9 million customers without electricity. Yeah. I don't know what's worse. I mean, at least with a hurricane, you have time to prepare to get the hell out of there. A tornado, you don't. usually you don't know a tornado's coming until it's right there. But yeah, I mean, there'll be a lot of, hopefully we have enough money in FEMA to help them out.
Mr. Beast for president.
Yeah. Yeah, I've already started a fan club on that comment on Twitter.
Fucking Ross Perot wannabe.
Well,
All
okay.
he's gonna do is he's gonna cause like votes that don't matter, basically.
I mean, I'm all for his generation being interested in politics, but I can't believe he is, because for the fact of the matter, I've never heard anything political come out of his mouth other than this right here. I want to be president, and I want to see what do you say? Because this is where I made a friend. Bum, 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 bum. So it says, if I were president, come on, turn. So it says, if I was president, I wouldn't care about party lines. I just always truly make the American people my number one priority. For problems I'm ignorant, and I'd have experts from the left and right advise me on them and try to find middle ground that's best for America. Wouldn't be buyable. Don't care about doing things just because my party says I should. And I would focus on uniting the country instead of dividing it. And I made his comments like, okay, you know, if you say you put America first, let's stop and think about it. You spend millions of dollars in other countries building houses, but homeless situation here in America has become worse every day. So I sit there and I go, also, how would you stop the influx of drugs like fentanyl from coming into America? And I said, look, I'm all for a younger, more energetic person to lead the country, but it's a lot more than posting videos and numbers on your YouTube channels. If you're serious and not just in it for the engagement, run for your state house, then get involved with foreign policy, because these are just some of the things that need to be corrected. And of course, I made a friend, Mr. Perez Thompson, weekly VR dev stream. Says, let's hear your plan to fix it all. I never said that it was a bad idea. I was asking a question, you know, because I was trying to make the statement for everybody to read it. It's like, okay, you got to realize this dude's in it for entertainment, and engagement is his entire livelihood, you know? So that's the reason why I said what I said in the beginning, is make sure people, you know, I started it out making sure people understood that he does what he does and makes his money because of his stuff to do for engagement. I'm not saying that he's not honest about a lot of the stuff he does. I'm just sitting there saying he's an entertainer just like everybody else. So it's an engagement thing, because without engagement, he doesn't get paid. So, you know, and I got this here. It's just like, as for why he does stuff in other countries, well, I'd wager every dollar spent building homes will probably goes way, way further. You can build a house for 5 families for the cost of getting one person off the street here. Okay, again, but you're helping other countries and not the country you live in. So dude did not even, I don't even think he really, honest to God, I don't think he could read.
At what point, like, I understand what you're saying, Rebel, okay? But at the same point, is Dr. Beast not really helping out a different country, but helping out a different human? And knowing that because that human lives in that country, his money that he puts towards it has a bigger influence than back here.
But he said he was going to put America first. So I was wanting to know how he was going to plan on doing that, when technically he hasn't done nothing here in the United States. Everything he's done is for people overseas. Building houses and everything else, all that stuff he done was for other countries, which I'm grateful for that, you know. But that's what I'm saying. And Mr. Perez here is a good example of some of the the younger generation coming up not understanding like foreign policy, politics, how things run, how to get around, all of the bureaucracy in government, how to cut through the red tape and everything else. And like I said, nothing against Mr. Beast. I have all the respect in the world for him because, he grinded hard when he was a kid. Didn't take long because, he's one of the OGs. There wasn't a lot around to do it. If he tried to do it today, don't think he would probably do it. I think everybody that started out when content creation first started to become a big thing, I think if the way the atmosphere is right now, if those people came into the atmosphere brand spanking new, they wouldn't make it. They would be like the rest of us. They'd be struggling, trying to figure something out. Now there might be one or two of them that might get through it, but and Mr. Beast might, because of the bigger technology and everything else. I'm not saying he's not intelligent. He is intelligent, because he worked through all of that stuff to get. I would recommend Mr. Beast for anything over Mark Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg is just Mark Zuckerberg's a hack.
He's a living fucking breathing Terminator.
He's just a hack. He takes other people's ideas and runs with them. That's what he does. And then he's smart in the way of screwing people out of their stuff. Put it that way. But for the fact of, and I'm not saying
he can't even run yet. Like he even says,
no.
He can't run for another 15 years or something.
But he can run for his local, get the experience.
Yeah. Get other political things under your belt for sure. I agree with that.
That's why I'm saying you can't just jump in from being a YouTuber. It's not like Jake Paul and Logan Paul, where they jump from YouTube into the entertainment world. Still, the presidency is not an entertainment world.
I honestly believe that in both of our countries, that politicians should be and required, if you want to become a politician, to serve for your country.
Oh,
I
definitely.
think that it should be a background thing that like you at least have put the effort in to serve for your country.
Oh, definitely. And one aspect or another, whether it was a guard or whatever, but
I'll be right back.
You need to have the understanding of how the military works, because the military is the backbone of our defenses. But no, like I said, don't get me wrong. I think it's great hearing that somebody stepping up and want to do it, and I would love to see more people get involved with politics. Now, with Mr. Perez's comment about what I'm going to do about it, I never presented myself as wanting to be president. I never presented myself as able to come up with, I could come up with ideas, but that wouldn't be politically correct, and then I would be treated like Trump, Because because a lot of people like me that think like me, our ideas would work, but we would be probably criticized heavier than Trump has been criticized. I'm the same way. It's just like, no, I personally would go in already understanding that I'm going to have a brick wall of red tape that I'm going to have to cut through for anything that I wanted to put through. I would finish the border. I'd finish everything else. And first of all, after I got done with that, to get the protection back down, I would start working on society. I would start working on societal issues within our country, and leave the other countries to figure shit out on their own. It's kind of like, I feel like when we get involved with other countries, it's like it's like Papa Bear not letting their kids know, not to, stick something in the electrical outlet or touch something on the stove. As a kid, you got to learn the hard way a lot of times not to do shit again. So I think that's the way we are when we go to these other countries. It's just like the automatic, Daddy USA will come save us. And then, I don't know. It's just, but no, like I said, I would first, shut down get everything back in order to the way it was, or at least somewhat in order. And then I would work on getting a better society. Start working on our society problems, family structures, and things like that. You know, areas that need more. You know, like some of the bigger cities in New York and some of the bigger cities in Chicago or Illinois, and some of the bigger cities in California. You start working on those bigger cities, and then slowly that work you do will trickle down into the smaller cities that are having issues. I mean, it's just like where I live now. I live in not like a huge city, but it's one of the major metropolitan areas of the United States. And we have cultural issues. We have a lot of stuff that needs to be fixed that I can see. I can present how to do it, but being able to do it would be a different story, because you've got to have enough people behind you to do something. And that's the biggest thing is, you know, he's not going to be able to, there's not going to be a lot of people be able to go in and sit there and say, hey, okay, you on the left, you on the right, we're going to do this. This is the way it's going to happen. Be great if it did work that way. It'd be awesome if it worked that way. But for the matter of fact, it doesn't work that way. But I mean, like I said, it's very nice to see somebody, you know, Mr. Beast's stature to come forward. But I think going from a YouTuber to presidency, he probably wouldn't last maybe 6 months. He'd be impeached. I don't know. We can't even get the one out there now, so he might be doing good. So, like I said, I mean, I love these people that sit there and comment on your Twitter posts and then turn around and cannot rebut when you bring another thing to the table. So it's just like, you know, they always want to be, you know, and I was at, you know, okay, so the way I ask questions might not be the way that everybody else asks questions, but I'm more direct and right straight to the point. Okay, I was going to say, did we go offline? But, and like I said, that's just me in a nutshell. We'll wait till Gunn gets back, because there's a. What did you guys see this post? Let me see if I can bring it back up. See what happened in this. I'll wait for Gunn on that one too, because he's going to enjoy that one if he didn't see it. So what do y'all do? Any of you remember who Ellen DeGeneres is? I mean, Ellen DeGeneres is now saying that she's quitting being in the public eye because of canceling the shows all across the United States, because she's tired of being in the public eye. You know, her show got canceled years ago because of allegations that she was toxic on set. And, I mean, there's been a lot of things that have been, like, caught here and there that shows that she does have a toxic side. I mean, I don't know. If you can read people, you can kind of read that she probably does have a toxic side. But then again, I can't judge people without actually seeing them and getting to know them. But yeah, so she's got a Netflix special coming out because she was coming back into comedy. That was the whole thing. What was it, last year? The end of last year? The big old post and everything says that she was coming back into comedy.
Who are we talking about? Ellen?
Yeah. Now she says she's done. She says she's going to she canceled, what'd she do? She canceled 4 shows. And she said as soon as she's done with her Netflix, she's done. She says she's canceling. The star said she's had enough of being in the public eye. She said she's going to go hide now. So yeah, because apparently her comedy specials aren't doing that well. So I mean, it's probably not a bad thing she canceled them.
I've never even seen her comedy special.
No, she used to. Well, that's what she used to do before she had her own show. She was a comedian.
Mm-hmm. No, I remember that, but I'm just saying I've never seen any of her latest comedy specials.
No, she after her show got canceled, she didn't do anything until her recently. I don't know when her Netflix special is supposed to come out. I think it's sometime this summer. So I got kind of confused because, like I said, when people put clips and shit up, it always sometimes loses context. But the way he was talking is basically like, I'll let you guys listen to it first. Did you see this one?
One of the things that comes up for me is the idea. One of the things that always comes up for me is the idea that, on housing, you have a whole bunch of older folks who are living in houses that are too much house for them right now, but their connection to neighborhood, to community means that no, they don't want to move out to the suburbs or to some different city to be closer to their grandkids. They want to still live in their community's quality of life, and there is no housing that they can afford even to downsize other than staying in their big house. So where you're actually working to increase the amount of apartments or senior assisted living centers in neighborhoods where people currently live in single family homes, that's a piece that you can actually, I don't know that goes directly at the animals challenge here, but it does start to look at the kinds of things that give you a way out that will eventually shift those numbers in a meaningful way.
So basically,
my prime minister got Biden disease? I didn't understand the fucking shit that he just said, man. It sounded like you might as well have just put Biden trying to talk about how he became the first black president.
I mean, by the way that comment is, I don't know what this was all about, but Trudeau says Canadian seniors are living in houses too much home for them. So what does he plan on doing? Like kicking them out and putting them in retirement homes and then selling? Cause I'm sure it's probably because of the housing shortages. I'm sure this is probably what it's coming up to.
No offense to anybody else at the channel, but like at my age and the amount of work I've put into my life, work labor wise, if the government guaranteed me a fucking place to live in my seniors, I'd be okay with it.
But I mean, but think about it. It's just like if like you said, you worked all your life to get this house, get it paid off, and everything else, and then when you get to the point to where somebody in government thinks that you're too old to live there by yourself, or it's too much space for you, and they pull you out to go put you in an old folks home. I mean, you're basically letting go everything that you worked hard for. You're letting it all go. Cemetery Gate, I want to be president too. Sorry, dude, I didn't see the comments go. What's going on, man? But it was probably some in the different game now. Oh yeah, that was a while. Sorry. Like I said, it doesn't alert me when there's chatters, and I can't see it on. It's funny because I can't see it on X, but it comes up on here. It's weird. But no, I mean, so if the government comes in and sits there and comes in and says, "Oh, you're too old. You need to move into an assisted living house or a retirement home, to where there's smaller space for you to take care of and everything else." I don't think I could do that.
I would be like, okay.
Well, yeah, you would, because you don't. I mean, no offense, but you rent. You don't own. You didn't work. You didn't spend your hard-earned money into paying off your home or your vehicle or everything else.
No, I've toiled over fucking not being able to purchase a home and having to fucking rent.
No, that's what I'm saying, though. But if
you at least your money is not wasted.
Oh yeah, when you rent, it's wasted.
Right. So I mean, like, who'd be more upset about why? Like I can understand your position on being upset if the government came in and said you're going to be living in the seniors' home. I can't. I can completely get it.
I mean, to tell you honestly,
But at
the
least
truth,
your
I mean,
money is not wasted.
yeah, because if you spend 150,000, if you I don't, depends on,
And
they're
you got
talking
to
about World War
remember,
II era.
there's more people on the earth, right? So there's more families are on the earth, right? And with having these seniors that are not willing to give up the double fucking lots that they have is causing a fucking housing problem, right? Because they had more room to build a big house that they're taking care of now, and they're seniors. I think that what he's trying to say is, hey, like if they decide to move into a smaller house, that gives up more land space to be able to build more affordable housing.
Now, if you can give me cost plus, hell yeah, I'll sell in a heartbeat. But I'm not.
Cost plus what? Cost plus what? Like everything depreciates in
I
value.
need money. No, I own it. I paid it off. You're going to pay what I want to pay, or
Your
you're not
land
going to
be
get it.
fucking fertile.
It doesn't matter. It's
It
my
sure
land.
does.
No, it's my land. If I want to die on it, I'll die on it. But the fact of the matter is, if I want to sell it, if you're going to buy it on my terms, not me sell it to you on your terms.
But realistically, you know that's not real. What's going to end up happening is the people that are going to buy your land and your house is going to bring a corporate fucking person that is going to assess the assessment. And you even have to fucking bring one in to assess your value.
If I put it up for sale.
Well, that's what.
But if they're if they're coming to me saying, "Hey, you have to sell," you're gonna pay me the assessment plus, because I'm gonna make money off this thing. I'm not gonna just. It's business. It's just like anything else.
How many corporations have done that to people? Like, it wasn't Aaron Brockovich, the movie Aaron Brockovich, about that, where companies were buying housing and shit like that, and they were
Aaron Brockovich was they were poisoning the land. That's what her role was.
Right, and they were falsifying. And so, what if you have a government group coming up to you?
They're already doing that.
This is what you're gonna get, and if you don't get, we're gonna plow right through you anyway.
I mean, they can call eminent domain, yes. And then if they call eminent domain down here, you lose everything.
Right, and so that's what I'm meaning by what you're saying is not really that realistic, in the sense that, that the big honcho that wants your land is going to do nefarious things to be able to get your land at cost.
Oh, trust me, they're not going to have any land to give, because I'll make sure there ain't nothing here. If it comes down to that. I'll make sure that you can't build on it. I'll make sure that you can't live in it.
Fucking see Rebel pissing all over his fucking house.
Oh no, I'll burn it down and fucking poison the ground. Because, like I said, if you force me out, it's just like this. There's a thing going on the Twitter that I've been keeping up with. This eminent domain that they're doing, and that's kind of what it sounds like he's doing. I don't know if you guys have eminent domain there in Canada, but we do down here. I mean, it can be stopped, but it has to be stopped with like a petition and everything else. But it sounds to me like he is talking about getting in cahoots with BlackRock and all them that we were talking about, that buy Vanguard, all these and all these people that buy these properties. Because that's the biggest thing down here that everybody's kind of like leaning towards with like all the train derailments, with all the chemicals and stuff in it, because they're dumping these chemicals into the ground. So the big conspiracy theory was that these big companies like BlackRock and everything else were causing these wrecks to deteriorate the land so they could come in and buy it and build commercial or build apartments on it. It's just like with the skyscrapers in New York and Detroit and all those ones that are still sitting empty. The biggest conspiracy theory about San Francisco is that these companies were moving in all these homeless people into San Francisco, these bigger areas, so that the property values would start to come down. So that way they can come in and swoop it up and then clean it out and then go back and resell all these properties higher than what they bought them for. You know? I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's just like you've got people like Mr. Beast, these young kids that want to come in and do it. Great. But you've got to understand there's bigger powers in motion, and money is the one that's ruling everything right now, because you have companies like BlackRock, you have companies like Vanguard that are basically pushing the agenda to have, or the whole thing about you owe nothing, you own nothing. And the whole 15-minute city things, those are all BlackRock and Vanguards. That's all their ideas. You know, because they feel, and we see it down here. I mean, with all the influx of apartment complexes that go up, it's crazy. We have an apartment complex that start once one gets finished, another one will start up again. It's like, where in the hell are they finding all these people? You know, I understand the newer generations are coming up and they don't want to buy right now because of, but I think another thing too, you could look at what happened, you know, with the whole interest rate situation during the pandemic and everything else. You know, that could be classified into a conspiracy theory thing, you know, put your tinfoil hats on and stuff like that. But you can look at the pandemic as also being a government conspiracy or some type of conspiracy to create this havoc, to create a downfall in the economy to where interest rates start going up and everything else, to where they start pushing people out of their lands because they can't afford them. You know, because that's one thing we were told a lot of I mean, it's just like my house. Okay, so pre-pandemic, my house was worth, on my mortgage, my house was estimated worth about $120,000. That's what my estimated assessment for my house. At right now, it's $265,000. You know, so that's how much the property values have gone up because of the pandemic. You know, because everybody wants, you know, and we get these little spam mailers all the time. It's like, we pay top dollar for your house. We buy it, blah, blah. It's like those go around all the time. We get those around all the time. So I'm saying the property values have increased, which, like I said, when I was I was doing the building material, or I was doing the whole building material thing back then. So we had people like right at the start of the pandemic when the lockdowns were coming in, when, you know, the prices were starting to go up on, because lumber's a commodity. So lumber's a commodity. It's traded on the stock exchange, and it depends on a bunch of factors. Economy's one of them. Weather's another. It depends on a whole bunch of different factors on how the market runs. So now, just like with this whole hurricane thing, the price of materials is going to go skyrocketing here in about a month when the insurance companies start sending out their checks to cover for the damages. You know, because they jack the prices up on everything to try to slow down demand, so they can slow down supply so they can keep up with the demand. You know, and plus they're making money off of it too. You know, it's one of the biggest scams in the world, next to car insurance. But yeah, I mean, it's just crazy how, I mean, like I said, once you start like diving into these different things, like I said, if you're going to be somebody as young as Mr. Beast and stuff like that, and want to get into, you know, politics and everything else, you know, you're going to kind of have to start steering your way. Because I mean, look at Trump. Trump got railroaded so hard because he did not know how to be a politician. You know, he didn't know how to handle himself. He was just handling himself like he would in a boardroom. He didn't understand the whole political background of everything, how it ran politically. And I think, like, with people like Mr. Beast or anybody else of that age, even if they did drop down and he got elected as president, he would end up being just like Trump. Because if he's saying that he would not allow one part or the other party to disagree, you know, and try to work together, it wouldn't happen. because you've got too many other people with their hands in the pot, like BlackRock, like Vanguard. You know, and like I said, and I'm sure that's probably the same scenario that's up there in Canada, because it's the same scenario that's in other countries. You have all these major outlying players. You know, you can call them the deep state if you want, but you have all these outside influential players that have a strong hand in how governments work. You know, like I said, technically, even like I said, we already know, we talked about this last night, we already know that a president's basically just a patsy. That's just somebody there to take the blame, you know, to take the fall when shit doesn't go down right. But the Congress is basically the same way, because they're at the whims of the PAC. They're at the whims of, you know, the lobbyists. They're at the whims of all of these people that are not in politics, but represent the companies that donate money to them to keep them in office. So, but the fact of, like I said, it kind of sounds like to me like he's doing the exact same thing or he's talking about, like in super secret prime minister language or whatever, Trudeau language, you know, that they're kind of going to start maybe bringing up the whole, if you don't move, we'll just take your house from you. But, you know, some of these might, you know, they might understand, especially if it's the older generation, like the World War II generation, you know, they're in their 80s and 90s. You know, they probably got about another 5-10 years to live anyways. Not trying to be mean, but, you know, that's just the way society runs. But, you know, yeah, I mean,
like, this dude's a douche canoe, but I don't want the other guy, and I really don't want Pierre Poilievre, and he's more of a douche canoe. Like, this guy blames everybody else. Doesn't have accountability. That's something that is important, to have somebody that's hard to have accountability. This here is fucking
Did you
weird,
see this?
Man. Like, why the fuck? Like, that's somebody trying to make fucking content and coming out with like a dumb idea.
That's what everybody else is saying too.
Idea. Like, he probably thought back, you know, how can I make myself viral? Oh yeah, I'm gonna.
I mean, look at the Hawk Tuah
on a
girl.
lady's leg. Like, what?
Pee? He didn't pee. He ejaculated.
Wow. Fucking weird.
Look, he fucking nutted on my fucking leg. You go to hell, bitch. Oh my god. He nutted on my leg. He nutted on my leg.
That's going to be the next. Everybody's saying this is going to be the next meme. You know, we had the Hawk Tuah girl. So now this is going to be the next meme. He nutted on my leg. But no, I mean, that just goes to show, I mean, for one, if it wasn't and he just did it just to be a dumbass, you know, because who's going to know it is him unless he gets, because if somebody knows it's him, he's going to get arrested for it. Because it's assault, for one.
To be honest with you, it sounds like Winnipeg. It sounds like this happened in Winnipeg, man. It really does. If my motto is on right now, Geronimo is on right now, and he heard this clip, he would be like, "Oh, that's definitely like fucking a Dollar Tree in the North End somewhere."
Yeah, this is in Philadelphia, though. It's like,
you guys are weird, man.
oh, but you sit there and say that it happens up there. We're weird.
Well, I can believe that it would happen up here far more than Philadelphia. That's for sure.
Well, see, so
But
y'all
that's 'cause I
are
know my
weird.
city.
Y'all are weird.
That's my city. My city's weird, but I'm just saying that, like, yeah, weird people.
But no, yeah, no, we have become a sick nation here in the last few years. I'm not gonna lie. And has it always been okay? So that's a question. Has it always been that way, or are we just seeing more of it now because
of cameras everywhere?
Yeah, of technology.
Yeah, I think that the weirdness has always been there. We just have never really documented it. Now everybody gets to document it.
and
Like,
also,
I
and
never
also,
in my life thought that I would meet a Karen in my life, okay? And I went to simply go get subs for me and my wife and my kid, right? And I sat and witnessed two Karens going off on these workers at Subway for absolutely no reason other than the fact that they thought that they were right. And it was just, I never in my life thought that I would have had that camera moment, go viral, but I have sense in my head, it's like I'm witnessing it. That kind of controversy is enough for me to witness and walk away and fucking just so dumb.
But that's what my biggest question is. Like, everybody's just like, oh my God, what's the country coming to? It's just like, you got to think about it. Have we always been this perverted and demented? Or is it because, or are we just becoming this way? And my personal opinion is I think we've always been this perverted and demented, period.
I think so too. And the thing that people got to remember is I just recently learned out that my ATM card can be used as a MasterCard. Yeah, I just learned that. Like that they have converted our ATM cards up here have got like the MasterCard symbol on it, right? And and they have that like 3-digit code in the back, and I never knew that I could like purchase shit as a MasterCard with my ATM card. Yeah, that was an eye opener. It's like, what? I actually have a MasterCard?
Well, yeah,
sort of, kinda.
It's basically what they classify as a secured card. You have to have money in there for it to actually work.
Yeah, you gotta wait. You gotta, like, if you purchase something, you definitely gotta make sure that you've got the money in there to purchase it.
Yeah, it's not like that, because back in the day where, like checks and stuff like that, because going back the whole way back into like the days of what's his name from Catch Me If You Can, that dude there that did that. He's the reason why the banking system had to do like a big massive overhaul on how they did things. Because you used to be able to write a check in New York City, it would have to go through a clearinghouse in another state, so it would take snail mail 7 to 10 days to get to. That's the reason why a lot of times, you remember back in the day, it always used to take anywhere from 7 to 10 days for approval on anything that you like sent a check in for or whatever. Is because it always had to go through these clearinghouses, and then they had to send it back saying, yes, it's good, and then the bank would debit it. It's like, I mean, it's just like I heard somebody ask the other day, it's just like, how come we don't see as many bank robberies as we used to in the past? And I think it's because of technology. There's too many cameras on the street. 2, I mean, it's not that we don't. I don't think there's probably. Yeah, I think that's probably the only thing that probably has like declined over the years is bank robberies. I mean, I was really surprised. I was so surprised and so shocked that we didn't see more bank robberies during the masking. Because in order to go into a public facility, you had to have a mask on all the time. So I was always surprised that there was not more bank robberies during that 2 years. But yeah, it's like for the fact of, too much technology, too much this, and, and a lot of banks don't really operate on cash anymore. They operate on credit, on numbers. Because if you deposit and this is true, if you deposit $50,000 into your account, because down here in the States, a banking system, if you deposit anything over $10,000, it automatically alerts the IRS or the Treasury or whatever that there's a big deposit coming into your account. And it doesn't matter who you are, business, individual, stuff like that. They really look at individuals more. But the fact that you can deposit $50,000 into your bank account, go back the next day and want to draw that $50,000 out, you're going to get told it'll be a few days. Because once you deposit that cash into that account, that cash has already been transferred into a digitized number, has been sent to, say I deposit $50,000 into the account and you come in and get a $50,000 loan. My $50,000 just went to you to go do what you wanted to do. So now that if I want my $50,000 back, I've got to wait till they can come up with the actual cash so I can cash out the $50,000 I just put in there. Our banking, that's the reason, the centralized banking system. But till somebody can come up with a better one. I think digital currency will be, technically we already use digital currency, because if you use a credit card or an ATM card or a debit card, that's basically digital currency. But I think digital currency, if they could regulate it to where the fact that the government didn't have the control, like what they're talking now with decentralizing the centralized bank system. I don't know. That'd be something that Mr. Beast, if you're listening and you want to be president, that's something you're going to have to look into, because by the time that you're old enough to run for president, if they haven't dropped the age down, which they might have to start dropping the age down. What is it, 35? Or 45? Is it 45 years old to run? To be president here? But no, it's just crazy. It's just like this shit here. It's just like, so in California, they passed a bill a few months ago, I think it was, or here recently, SB 1414. It's a bill that makes it a felony to purchase children for sex. It's pretty sad we have to have state bills for that, but so there's a bill in California that makes it a felony to purchase children for sex. But you have these people coming in sitting there saying that are opposing this bill because of the fact that it could hinder the LGBTQ community. So that's starting to throw like a lot of red flags up into a lot of areas. It's like, why would that hinder anything that had to do with the LGBT community when it has to do with trafficking children? Because if you purchase a child for sex, that's sex trafficking or underage prostitution. Why would anybody be against that? Why would there even have to be a proposal for a bill for that? But I understand why there is, because there's a lot of sickos in the world, but the fact is you have people opposing that. If that came into your area and stuff like that, because you guys have the same LGBTQ issues we do down here, basically. If they put a bill in to sit there and says it was a felony or whatever, or, a big charge, I don't know how your guys' legal system runs up there, but if it was like a felony to purchase children for sex, would the community oppose it up there?
I would be fucking sitting there opposing it.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I don't understand where I stand on this kind of stuff. I'm a true believer in science, right? So we've been developing sciences so that older women can have fucking childbirth and stuff like that. We don't have to do the things that we do to our children, allow a child to be a fucking child,
But like I said, the biggest thing that
this is dumb to me,
Yeah, that's what confused me. Is it's I've seen a few articles and stuff like that. Not a lot, but there's been a few out there. And it's a trending thing on Twitter.
A bigger problem in your country than it is really in our country.
Yeah.
At the same time, though, is we have the same bullshit. What is that fucking new terminology that they use for predators? That they're
Oh, minor attracted person.
Yeah, whatever. We have that shit up here too, and it's like, are you fucking serious? Like, as a human, we're supposed to be advancing, not fucking going back to keep on thinking that way, or to have you even be thinking that it's completely all right. Like we're not 1700s anymore. We're like, like teenage girls were being fucking pawned off, for childbirth and labor. It's
Yeah.
like we're supposed to be growing up from that. We're supposed to be progressing in science for that. Allowing older women to be able to have children. Um, it's dumb. It's like it's just fucking dumb. Like there's, admittedly, there are dumb people in this world, and those dumb people should be actually living in the places that have dumb shit happen, like hurricanes and stuff like that, right?
I think we ought to. I think we ought to just all box them up and send them to fight. Send them to war. Let them go to war. But oh, poor old Ryan Garcia. Yeah, is this the post that you were talking about that he like got worse, where he went to his ex's home and destroyed the house?
This dude is hyped up on some type of drug. I attended one of his little X spaces during I can't remember what it was, but I listened to him talk and stuff like that, and it's like, yeah, like I listened to everything, and then all this shit's starting to happen, where he's saying dumb things and then doing dumb things, and it's just like this dude is like, how many Britney Spears do we have in this lifetime? Like, for real.
I know.
I
I
don't
mean,
mean to refer to it, but I mean, she's the only one really that you could like kind of pinpoint as like the decline on celebrities right now is amazing.
well, it's just. I think it's just. I think a lot of people when they get into celebrity, become a celebrity. Going back to like the whole political thing, when you go into politics or celebrity, you don't understand the cost you're going to have to pay to be in there.
Yeah.
You don't
Like
the
this
mental.
stuff here, like I'm almost tempted. Hey, like drama alert, man. I used to be an ex-porn model. Fucking find my clout for me, man. Fucking find it. You want to fucking post up fucking dumbass videos of me back then? Fucking find it, man. Fucking help me get my clout.
No shit, that's all it's doing too.
Fuck sakes, man. Like I don't care if anyone sees that I fucking had a dildo on my ass. Fuck that. Just give me clout at this point in time. All you're doing is you're driving up Ryan Garcia's fucking bullshit.
Yeah, because everybody's going to his channels and stuff like that and posting on them, so it's throwing up his engagement.
And he probably paid. I don't know.
Speaking
You
of
don't know in that world.
speaking of dildos up the butt, Sneeko had
Hey.
to sneak.
Yeah, this here, Sneeko, if you're listening to our little space here, and you're listening to Sneeko, I guarantee you've had a fucking anal plug up your ass. Wearing a fucking fluffy sweater like that, I'm telling you, you probably have a vibrator.
And the funny thing is like, yeah, he I don't even. I mean, he's one of those that have gone against the whole idea, but it's just like everybody else is saying. It's just like, who fucking cares? Is the drama seeking people that hard up on trying to find content that you got to drag stuff up from 2 years ago, and basically throw a kid into a mental freaking state of mind to where he was wanting to not come back? Period. It's just very, very crazy that you would even. But it's just like everybody says, he's not hurting. Sketch didn't hurt nobody. He didn't force people to watch it. He didn't do anything. It was his deal.
He never lied.
Yeah.
If somebody asked him if he was handicapped or if he had a disability, he was upfront and he always said, no, I don't.
It's a sketch.
Does people get fucking up? Like, look, you know what, dude? Fuck.
Well, that's why I'm saying I think these drama channels, I think they're I mean, that's what they are. They're drama channels. And nothing against them. I mean, however you make your engagement, fine. But I think they do have to have some morals and some respect to some things. And to tell you the honest to God truth, over the couple of years that I've been following Drama Alert, which is Keemstar, I've seen him tone down a lot of shit that he used to do. You know, he still, you know, drags the drama out and everything else. But for the most part, he does try to keep it civil as possible. But, you know, and there's some out there that are taking the reins on themselves trying to do it, and they don't understand boundaries. You know, there are boundaries and everything. Even what we do, just doing this, there's boundaries. There's some things I won't talk about just for the fact because I know what's going on in the space, and I don't want to instigate it, and I don't want to, you know, fuel everybody else's fire up when stuff happens. But yeah, I mean, isn't Sneeko the one that just got like banned off everything and then just came back?
I don't know, man, but he needs to grow his fucking beard.
I'm not going to play the clip because he says the hard N word in here. But yeah, I don't know. And it's just it too. You've got all these self-proclaimed people, you know, that have just because they have high numbers, which, you know, probably most of them are view botted anyways, because view botting is easy to do. All you got to do is embed a stream into a web page 1,000 times and you have 1,000 views. Or you buy
as far as sketch is concerned, the only thing that I think that he's a victim of is assumption. People,
yeah,
or the master of assumption. What I mean is that, like, instead of being upfront right away, telling the truth and all that, he just went off of what people fucking put into it. So if you, his mannerisms that he did and stuff like that, if you felt that he had autism, at that point, he's like, whatever, you know, I'm going to do it. And you're going to fucking tell people that you're playing with an autistic fucking stream, you know?
I mean, it's no different. Who's that?
Whatever. But if anybody came to me and asked me, are you autistic? He's going to be upfront about it, not lie. And
Yeah,
that's what he did.
I've seen posts where people have asked him. He goes, "No, it's a skit." He goes, "It's a character."
A character. And that's the whole premise of what we've been doing as streamers. I think that people, with the IRL space being part of things, I think that people don't realize that the IRL that they're watching is also planned.
Oh yeah.
You know, like, I watch Pablo Ventura. Okay, I love Pablo Ventura. I think that his shit's actually really good as an IRL. He doesn't like. He goes to that line and always stays on the opposite side of it. And his community will give him shit if he goes across that line. But his content as an IRL streamer is a lot more of his community trolling him personally, not making him troll other people. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah.
he'll be sitting in a car and he's got TTS, and his community will be trolling him to the cab driver or something like that, right? Where he's having to explain, no, it's just my chat. They're just being assholes to me, you know?
Yeah.
That's funny to me because that is what, as a content creator, you're supposed to be the object of the content, not other people.
Well, no, and you go back to the whole thing where you said that, you know, even in the IRL spaces, you know, which includes like the political spaces, ever since advertising came out, it's become a thing like everybody has to like overdo the next person, you know, to overdo the next idea, overdo the next, you know, because, you know, it's already been done once. So now you got to top it. You got to go over the bar. I mean, political is the same way. Most of this shit that you see is planned and rehearsed. You know, I mean, it's to the point now with, especially since I've been like paying attention more and more with it. you could literally kind of like now become a psychic and like predict what's going to happen next, you know, in some instances. You know,
Yeah,
it's just like
it's like watching the Vitaly clip. I recently saw a Vitaly clip surface up again with a rapper that reposted it saying, "Hey, it's because I hate pedos," right? And he reposted this clip of him rapping during the humiliation of a pedo. You know, like, okay, at that point, or at this point, we know Vitaly has paid actors.
Mhm.
So do you really hate pedos, or do you really just hate people playing pedos?
yeah.
Because showing that clip didn't prove to me, knowing that Vitaly pays people to do that you actually fucking hate it.
No, I mean, yeah, I mean, you pay shit. I mean, it's just like if you got the money. I mean, anybody would do it if you had the money to spend. I mean, you spend money as a content creator. You spend money on editors. You spend money on, you know, people to enhance your brand, to advertise your brand. So if you have the money to do that and you have other people doing it for you, I mean, they're going to make you look bigger than probably what you are, you know, because that's how, like I just got through saying, is somebody's got to, you know, somebody does something, the next person's got to do it bigger. So, I mean, that's the reason why I say you never trust anything you see on the internet. Never trust anything that you hear on, you know, emails or threads or anything like that, or any type of post like Instagram, TikTok. TikTok is really bad because TikTok is all about engagement. Because I was watching, because I was doing research for Friday night show with Lily and watching a lot of her people that were reacting to her stuff. And you go and you look at some of them, go like to like the political side of things and start watching the people that react to them. Totally different, you know, because Lily's, she, you know, people try to react to her because of, they're just jumping on board. They have really nothing to react to her for anymore. I mean, it's already like in the past, but I just want to talk to her because I like the way that she doesn't give a shit and she speaks her mind. I love people like that. It's the reason why I hang out with Gunn, because he speaks his mind, even though sometimes he tries to be a little political correct, but which is not a big thing. You know, it's just,
I'm not politically correct. I just feel that, you know, like there's certain words in our vocabulary that have like origins of like nefariousness, and our culture has taken those words and given it to people to use, but only certain, like, you know what I mean? It's like I don't want to use those words. I don't feel any reason to use those words because I know the origin of those words, right? Just because you add it in as a filler for a rap song or anything like that, like it's not gaining any camaraderie if like I'm gonna get punched in the face if I use it.
yeah. I mean, and that's not what, like I said, that to me, like I said, that's an overused. I mean, her situation has already been overused. I mean, we all know she's been on several podcasts and everything else about it. We're not going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about the subjects, and I want to get, you know, I want her opinion on some of the things that are going on in the world right now, you know, for the fact, because she does have for being a young person, she does have a lot of critical thinking knowledge to where she's one of the few that actually do critical think, you know, even though, and she's not politically correct. You know, I used to be, when I first started doing this, I was scared shitless of talking about shit, but it's like now.
She has more value to the conversation than Mr. Beast talking about being president.
Exactly.
Running as president. How?
How is Mr. Beast? I can guarantee that's nothing but an engagement ploy. I mean, I'm not saying he probably wants to do something, but like I said, when he starts running for North Carolina Congress or whatever, then I'll start taking him a little bit more seriously. Because right now, to me, he's just an entertainer, and that's what he does for a living, is to try to get people's attention. And so when he becomes something of a political stance and starts doing something politically, then I can start taking him more seriously. You know, and I think the world would take him, because right now the world's not going to take him seriously, because they're going to see him the same way that I see him. They're going to see him as an entertainer, that he's only doing it because it's the thing to do at the moment. It's the trending thing to do at the moment, is to get on the political bandwagon. You know, I mean, you see a lot of these people. I've seen a lot of people starting to like slowly like inch over into politics. And I've seen a lot of people fail because they have no idea. I mean, I don't even know. There's things, I sit there and do research all day long. Even when I was working, I would do research on my phone all day long to try to figure out, you know, what this, you know, like what this part is. And I would read it and read it and read it. You know, it's just like with AOC, you know, she's one of these young people that, you know, I don't even know. I mean, her background supposed to be like a bartender or something like that, and she came up into Congress like out of the blue. You know, people are calling her a political plant. But you know, she's filing impeachment charges today. Today she filed impeachment charges on Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito, which is the two Supreme Court justices. But you know, they do have some skeletons in their closet that came out, but. Is it really worth the taxpayers' time and money to, just because the only reason why she's doing it now is because she didn't like the outcome of one of the rulings that happened? That is the only reason why she's doing it. She's had this information prior to the rulings. Why did she wait till today, you know, a week and a half after the ruling to do anything? You know, she should have, if she was a real, and she's an entertainer. She's not a politician. She's an entertainer. I mean, none of her constituents can stand her. Even her own district, I don't even know how in the hell she got reelected, because from all the things that I've seen and read of her, nobody can stand her, period.
Evidently, that's not true if she's still in power. And
not necessarily.
And like, this whole thing that she's going up against Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito for failure to disclose improper gifts and reimbursements. Why that? Why are they like?
That's what I'm saying. You know, she
no,
had
no,
all.
No, but like Clarence Thomas is an alleged sex assaulter.
Probably because they can't find enough evidence.
Like he was on, like he's made history because of that.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying, though.
You got that other dude, Kavanaugh, another one that apparently sexually assaulted somebody and is now on the Supreme Court. Like, man, the idea that like if I lived in the United States and my deep dark fucking skeletons can be fucking ignored because of the ideology of the party that I'm established with, it's just gonna fucking turn a blind eye and allow me to go, man. I would be part of the Supreme Court. Like, that's weird to me.
I mean, my biggest question is like I said, those charges. You know, if that was all there, I mean, yeah, it's like why are they picking on the small stuff, knowing that it's probably not going to go anywhere. You know.
Yeah, but I mean, improper gifts and reimbursements and financial transactions sounds like it's among taxpayer dollars, right? So that in itself is breaking the law. You're not supposed to be doing that.
Well, I know that, but what I'm saying though is that there's a more the other stuff could get them thrown in jail if they went after him. This stuff isn't going to get them thrown in jail; just get them thrown off the Supreme Court.
Yeah, pulled off the Supreme Court, and that's what they're trying to do. Is they're trying to look. Do you think that it's fair for your wife if she got pregnant, even if she couldn't get pregnant, but hypothetically she got pregnant, that she didn't want to carry it at the age of 45, that she could go into a hospital and make that decision on her own?
I'm not talking about abortion.
No, but that's what the Supreme Court at the moment, with the balance that there is, has done.
Well, this came all down because of the ruling on Trump.
I think that it's come down to like everything that's gone on so far. And
so why wait now? Why didn't they do it when? Because that Roe versus Wade ruling was months ago.
Because they wanted to see whether or not the people that he put into the Supreme Court were going to be partial, and they weren't. How is it partial
How's
to
it
not
not?
allow a woman to decide what she does with her body, or to
Okay,
say,
so one,
"Hey,
you
we're
gotta
not
okay,
gonna, we're gonna shut this thing down, and we're gonna allow states to make those decisions." Like, I don't get
because
that.
that's a constitutional republic for one. That's what this country was founded on, was the people make the choice, not the government.
But it's still the government making the choice.
But the people, okay, I keep telling people this, and I don't know why they don't understand. It is so hard to fight the United States government to get anything done. You can fight a state regulated government easier and quicker than you can a federal government. You can fight your states down here, because if your people would get away from their keyboards, get away from everything else, and actually go out and do something, that goes to show me just how important that it is to these people, because they don't want to go out and do anything. They just want to sit behind Twitter and complain all day long. You have the option now to
petitions to make a difference.
Yeah, you can. You can sign petitions, and you can get your House representatives and your district representatives involved into making this, because you know what? If the people would stand up and sit there and say, this is what we're going to do. You work for us, not us work for you. And you're not going to be elected next time if the majority rules that this is what needs to be done. So if you have a majority of people that come together, which is what a constitutional republic is the majority of the people, not the majority of the government, and sit there and say, hey, go to your state senators, go to your state house, pick at your state capitals. I mean, they did it during the teacher strikes. They do it for anything else that they want changed. Has there been any picketing on state capitals? I haven't seen one thing about it. They're just everybody's like all complaining and all whining and crying because they can sit behind their keyboards and just type it on, or make a video and post it on TikTok, or type it on Twitter, or make reels on Instagram.
Except for people like this AOC that's trying to make a difference, trying to take certain people off the Supreme Court that shouldn't have had the seat in the first place.
Okay, so I mean, I'm not condoning their actions, but I mean, why wouldn't they deserve it? I mean, just because it's appointed.
Sexual assault is a crime. So in that,
but you do realize that, okay? So they can get them off. If they get them off, so that means now they won't be off. Even if it does go through and they get impeached and they get relieved of their duties, it probably won't be till after the election, anyways. So if we have a Republican president coming in, guess what? They're going to put 2 more Republican nominees into the Supreme Court, because the president's the one that selects them. The Senate passes them.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I think that your system and my system combined are pretty shitty.
But that's what I'm saying. Our system's broke, and has been broke, because we lost the whole idea that the people rule, not the majority. So if you get, the majority, they're talking about the government as a majority. So, that's why I'm saying like the whole thing with the electorals is broke, because it doesn't work the way it's supposed to work. The way
I don't
Congress,
think any government's working the way it's supposed to be working right now, of being being religious in a sense. I think that where the real conspiracy is that
I think your stuff's getting ready to crash because you're roboting.
Am I roboting?
Roboting on mine, anyways. Let me try this. I'm gonna go to the be right back, and then I'm gonna try to refresh. It might be my
Anyway,
All right.
So
Sorry about that. I had to clear out some
it went back on
browsers that I had open.
I went back onto the other thing.
Uh-oh. Hello? Uh-oh. Hold on. It always does this. Hello? There we go.
There we go. So what I'm getting at is, like with the religious background that people are like imposing on people, and that's what it is. It's a ideology that's running rampant these days. That, hey, you know what, you are doing wrong. You're a sinner, and we need to make sure that there are no sinners. And it's like that's not what government, like, that's what's scary to me. That's what's scary to me.
No, I mean the whole system's broke. I mean, and that's what I'm saying. You got people like all these young people that want to come up and think they can just jump right into it. And with the system being broke, you've got to fix the system before you can fix anything else. I mean, that's plain and simple, because you
How
can't.
are you going to fix a system that is
I don't
currently and always having some type of a religious influence? Like we need. I think the religious influence that we have in government is got to go.
Oh, I
That's
agree.
got to go, because I mean, even your constitution says that, yeah, you have the right to express your freedoms of being a Christian, but you don't have the right to impose it on anybody else. But
No.
that's what's going on, is a lot of Christian imposement. We've already done that. We did that. Our ancestors fucking did that when they came here. They fucking assimilated people. Why are we still trying to assimilate people?
Yeah,
What portion of that assimilation isn't grooming? But you guys that believe that other people are grooming, you have no problem using that fucking word, but you have like, at what point are you not grooming as well?
Oh, I'm totally with you.
Like, that's stupid. That's the only word I can think of.
But no, I mean, that's the whole issue. Is it's like, we're dealing with that still down here. With the whole teaching the Bible in school type thing here where I live, and even though that he's now, there's been so much pressure on him, he's now like the superintendent of the schools has changed the way it's going to be implemented. It's going to be implemented through social studies class now, because the whole idea was that he was trying to implement it to like position itself as a teaching tool towards like learning how the Constitution and the founding fathers drafted the Constitution, how the country was designed and everything else. But if you go back in history, if you knew your history, and it's just it, people do not know their history, and it irritates the crap out of me. You don't know your history, that the history of the Constitution, the founding fathers of the Constitution was a mixed religious, some of them were Unitarian, some of them were studied deism, and some of them were Christian. So there was multiple different religious groups that were involved, but that's the reason why they wanted to take religion out of government and keep it separate, is for the fact because of when it came down to religion. I mean, you go to anybody and start talking religion, you're going to get it into a heated conversation or a downright knockout, drag out battle sometimes. I mean, look what's happening overseas with Israel and Palestine. That's a religious war. That's been, going on for, years and years and years. Israel and Palestine have been trading blows back and forth there, way back before any of us were on this earth. So that's what I'm saying. Taking religion out of government needs to be done. It needs to be separate. That's the reason why the founding fathers put that in there, is to separate religion from state.
But that's been quite the opposite of what's been fucking going on, especially with like saying that we're going to be adding the Lord's Prayer. Look, back in the 80s when I was in school, in elementary school, we're talking like grade kindergarten, grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4. I clearly remember fucking doing the Lord's Prayer every goddamn fucking morning. And slowly that got taken out of schools. Why did it get taken out of schools? Because schools, public schools, were funded by the government, and the government had to stay away from religion.
Yep.
Period.
That's the reason why they took it. You know, they took the Lord's Prayer. They did the same thing with us. I mean, we weren't
you guys.
we weren't forced to do it, but they said it over the intercom so everybody heard it.
When I was a kid, we had Lord's Prayer. We also had the national anthem.
Yeah, we had the Pledge of Allegiance.
We had to sing the national anthem. Nowadays, the school plays the national anthem, right? Like, and you're standing for the national anthem, but you don't have to sing the national anthem. They don't force you to sing it no more.
No, and they don't even do the Pledge of Allegiance in a lot of schools. Now there are some schools that still do the Pledge of Allegiance, but it's not like it was back as we were growing up. But
as an atheist, or what I like to categorize myself as a pantheist, okay, and when you're a pantheist, I believe that I am godly. Okay, I believe that how I portray myself in the light of other people reflects upon me and the influences I have around me, like my kids and everything else, right? So I like to I like to be a good person, right? So that good things happen back to me, right? That energy is given back to me in a good way, okay? But that doesn't mean that if a Christian comes up to me, somebody that believes in God, I won't turn around and tell you that that your God is fake. The only time that I've ever said anything about Christians and what they believe in is when they come at me about how I believe is wrong. Well, of course, then I'm going to be like, well, how do you feel that I'm wrong? I don't feel you're wrong in your beliefs.
mm-hmm.
But then all of a sudden you're telling me because I'm not a Christian that I'm going to go to hell? Well, fuck you, man.
Yep.
That's a little judgmental, and I believe that from my experiences of trickling in your fucking Bible, that it says that you shouldn't be fucking doing that to me.
Well, and it's just like, you know, fuck, I don't even remember. I hate getting old.
Yeah.
My train of thought just kind of goes.
Marijuana, man. Warrior 420 says hello in my chat, by the way.
What's up, dude?
He finally finished moving.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
But no, I mean, yeah, the whole thing, like I said, that was the reason why the founding father. Because I mean, I kind of knew that there was different aspects of religion that was involved with them. Because I mean, you know, you consider, you know, the founding fathers were all traitors of the British rule, you know, to start with. So, and there was a bunch of different religions over there. They never had like one. I mean, yeah, they said most of them were Christian Protestant is like what they ended up like rolling themselves into. But
do you really think that your forefathers, when they wrote that document, were thinking about their fucking religion back then? That they were thinking of the greater good of the people that they were in power of, and how to fucking push forward with rules of what not to do? I don't think that religion had any part of it, because Ben Franklin has been accounted of being a Freemason.
Well, he also practiced deism too.
Exactly. So, like, were they thinking? Was Ben Franklin fucking thinking about being a fucking Mason while he was signing that document? Doubt it.
No. But no, that's what I'm saying. That's what these people don't understand. It's like when you start to argue. And plus, right now is a bad time to try to bring that into the school system, period, because of the fact that there's so many different religions in school right now.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I mean, you have probably, some of the bigger cities probably has every religion known to man going to the public schools. You know? Now, I mean, I know a lot of people sit there and say, well, that's what's missing with schools is this. I go, no, that's not what's missing with schools. Missing with schools is they need to revamp the program that was created to create the Industrial Revolution. That's what the schools were created. You know, like I said, if you go back into history, and I say this a lot of times on the show, that if you go back in the history of the school system, the education system, it was created off of the Polish school system, you know, and their main thing was basically to create a set of create people that were obedient to government instead of becoming critical thinkers or free thinkers. Because, I mean, if you ever remember, like in school, when you're learning things now as an adult, if you go back and kind of like reminisce on some of the things you learned, if you can remember, there was not a lot of like ability to like come up with your own opinions or ideas. It was always you had to read this book and write down what it meant. You know, if you try to put your own opinions or something in there, you always got, you know, credit taken off. Nobody pushed the fact of to be independent and to be, you know, a free thinking person, you know. And I think that's the reason why we do have a lot of issues with our government right now on everywhere. And we do have a lot of issues with the people that run the government, is because they are on that factor that we were told to be obedient to those that we served, you know. And I'm not going to lie, some of the churches back in the day too, especially the ones that taught the Old Testament, you know, brimstone and hell and all this other shit, you know, you were basically programmed and taught to be obedient, not a free thinker, not a critical thinker. You were taught to be obedient. I mean, if you look at the way school systems are set up, you know, classrooms are set up. You know, there's a few classrooms now that are walking away from the traditional setup. You know, they have a free flow room and everything else, which is great. And they have shown that it does improve learning when you have the ability to, you know, not sit in the predetermined rows or predetermined seats. But yeah, you look in the school system. I mean, you do now look at when you walk into a school, look at their walls. You know, most walls are like a solid color. You know, they're really drab and dreary. And when you walk into a classroom, it's the same way. There's not much availability for, you know, teachers to express themselves because of the fact of the way the school systems run. You know, so you've got to keep everything neutral. I guess you could classify it neutral. And then your kids are set in rows, you know, they're set in rows. The teacher's in the front. You got to raise your hand to ask a question. People say that's respectful. I understand that, but it's also being obedient. You know, they teach you how to be obedient when you go into the workforce. You're obedient to your boss. You know, because if you backtalk your boss, prime example, you get fired.
Yeah, no offense to that comment that you just said about being obedient to your boss. I mean, my fucking job record is quite full. Like, my fucking resume, if I actually printed it out, would probably be a novel at this point in time with my work experience. And that's due to the fact that I could give a flying fuck if you're my boss. That's
like I said, that's the reason why I'm sitting here unemployed right now, because I got tired of being obedient, you know.
Yeah, I mean, like, but I think it also goes by the job as well.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
Like, me being a welder, you know, if my boss turned around and told me to go and weld in confined space for 8 hours, and if I didn't, I was going to get fired. Well, guess what? I'm looking for a new goddamn fucking job.
Now, yeah, let me correct that, because I don't want people going back and sit there and say, okay, go fuck you and I quit my job today. No, don't do that. But if you feel that you are not being respected in the work that you do, or if you're being put in positions that you don't feel safe or secure in, or if you don't feel respected enough to be, because these companies got to realize, without employees right now anyways, without employees, they wouldn't be in business. You know, they always sit there and say, well, the customers are what make us. No, your employees are what make you. And that's what so many businesses have fallen off from, is that your customers, yes, they make the money, but your employees make the customers.
No, here I don't know if you know this, but what I enjoy the fact is that I worked for a company, a welding company, that hated the idea of immigration, but then took advantage of the loopholes that
Oh, yeah.
get from it.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
like having a fucking like a turnover rate because they know that there are willing fucking immigrants coming over that are gonna fucking accept whatever dollar that they get from it, meaning minimum wage.
And then the government gives them a kickback for hiring a minority.
Exactly. But they're
Yep.
the ones that'll be like, oh, frickin' immigration is taking our job. No, you're benefiting from those. You're
Yeah.
fucking then going and toting on fucking TV that, the policies of our country bringing immigration over is harming us and everything. Bullshit. You fucking making a ton of money off of it. Fuck. I'm a result of that. Fuck. But I would suggest to anybody that if you don't like where you're working and you feel that you're not being held with respect the way that you should be held with respect, definitely you have two choices. You can be very
Right.
vocal about it. You can be very vocal about it, or you can do what everybody's termed being a silent quitter.
Yeah.
And just move on.
I mean, and that's the whole thing, like with the DEI policies and stuff like that. The DEI came in and started, the diversity, inclusion, or diversity, exclusivity, and inclusion. That's one of those things. It's like when that policy came out years and years ago, it's been out for years. It's not nothing new. It's been out for years. It's maybe have changed names and changed, shirts a few times, but and affirmative action was a big thing. They nixed affirmative action last year, so now the government's not like handing out and dishing out the money that they used to for hiring, those people. I mean, some it still does in some things, but they still do get loopholes when it comes to taxes. But the government used to give them kickbacks and stuff like that. Because if you look at what do you think when you fill out an application, if it asks what what ethnicity you are? It's because if it's just like all the applications online that I've been filling out. It's just like, are you Indian? Are you this? Are you that? It's because that company gets a kickback if they get so many people in there. They get the kickback on their taxes at the end of the year for having so many minorities and being diverse. Walmart, Target's really bad about that kind of stuff, about being the, going back to like being the obedient, don't talk back, don't everything else. I had a friend of mine that used to work at Target, and they got fired because they were talking about Target on company time, talking about management. And of course, Target has, shit tons of cameras and everything up everywhere, and they monitor everything you do. Walmart's the same way. Walmart will tell you they put those security cameras in, all the security cameras in for customer safety. Bullshit. That's because Walmart started implementing security cameras, because I used to install them in some Walmarts when I used to work for a security company years ago. They installed them in areas where employees go, because they wanted to make sure they monitored the employee action or activity and everything else, because there was a bunch of employees, you remember, I think it was like 10, 15 years ago, they were trying to create a union for the Walmart employees. Some of the employees were trying to establish a union, kind of like what Starbucks did. And so they knew that if they were able to establish a union, that it would screw Walmart, because now they would be at the whim of the employees instead of the employees at the whim of corporation. And that's kind of like when Starbucks did their thing, where they allowed their employees and their whatever, if they wanted to create a union, they could create a union within the company. And then, that kind of like went over like a total shit can there for a while, but I think it's kind of like leveling out now. But we have a gas station up here called, huh?
Well, I was just gonna say I recently thought about like applying for Walmart if I couldn't get a job. The only thing that stopped me was the fear of like working with my dad as a greeter.
Yeah, you'd be one of those that check receipts. Give me your goddamn receipt. I want to check your receipt.
My dad arguing about probably politics, because my dad would be like, "See, Now you're working the same job I am. Fucking Trudeau.
But no, I mean, like I said, it's just like all these companies. You know, we have, like I said, another one we have up here. It's a gas station called Quick Trip, and I used to have a stepson that worked for him, and he was like up for a assistant manager position or whatever. Been there forever since he was in high school, and he was standing at the counter off duty one time, talking to the clerk that was behind there. They were talking about the store manager of that store they were in. Well, the stores record your voice. So if you walk into these places, I mean, you got to be careful because a lot of times they record your conversations. I mean, they're supposed to post it somewhere saying all audio, video recording, but you know, they record your conversations. Well, they recorded him talking about this manager, and they turned around and basically didn't get rid of him, but they demoted him and didn't give him a chance to get the assistant manager position, you know? So basically trying to force him out to quit. And that's kind of like what happened with my job. They've been trying to force me out over the years because I don't stand, you know, I do my job. I go in, clock in, do my job. I'm cordial to my customers and everything else, because if I wasn't, I wouldn't get tips from them and everything else. But, you know, just because I don't get along with a couple of the people that are in the management position, you know, I become, what's that word? Insubordinate, you know, just because.
It happened to me, Rebel. You're a witness of it, okay? Like, I told everybody when I started, while I was streaming, that I had to get a job, and I didn't fucking like the job, and I don't fucking like the idea of getting the job. But it doesn't mean that I didn't have good quality work, right? I worked there for fucking full almost 2 years working there, and they had no problem. In the last 3 months of my employment was when I got written up, and every time that I got written up, I fucking talked about it on stream. And I got written up 3 fucking times in 1 fucking month. Now you tell me at 50 years old that I can't figure out that they're just trying to figure a way to fire me.
Yeah.
Like, fuck off, man. I was smiling when they pulled me into the office and they handed me my release letter with the severance package that they offered me. And they're like,
at least you got one of those.
I was like smiling. I was just like, I fucking knew this was going to happen.
Like, but no, and that's the way these companies work, you know. And like I said, I mean, I was already in the process of looking for something else. I was just hoping I'd find something else before, you know, that happened. But, you know, they were wanting me to sign all this exit paperwork, and I said, fuck you, I don't work here anymore, and I walked out. So, yeah, it's just because I'm not saying go out and just be totally unruly, because if you have a company, a good company to work for is one that listens to their employees. I'm not talking about bows down to their employees. I'm not talking about gives in to them every time they do something. I'm talking about ones that you can go to the upper management and say, hey, dude, you know, I'm not feeling it today. I need to, and the manager's like, not really empathetic, but understands and kind of like, okay, what's going on? How can we make it better? You know, trying to do something to make you stay that day instead of going home, you know, or something to make you feel like you're worth the company, other than sitting there saying, you know, it's like a last meeting we had. It's like, oh yeah, you all basically own the company and blah, blah, blah. You are the company. No, we're not.
Well, this last job that I went for, I like it. Like so far that I've liked it, like I'm fucking sore, but that just means I'm out of shape.
Yeah.
Like my arms or my fucking legs are sore from all the activities I was doing. But what it showed me was that the company I applied for, it's got enough common sense to realize that, hey, if we're going to employ somebody, let's make sure that we can employ somebody that can actually do what we're asking them to do, right? And so we're going to put you through a wellness test to see physically if you're able to do it. That way we're not wasting your time. That way we're not like hiring you and then fucking not liking the results and then humiliating you and firing.
Yeah.
I like that idea. You know, like I do.
Well, yeah. And like I said, and like one of the companies I applied for, I've been looking at anyways, and I wouldn't apply for them. I walked in there and it was just an automatic, just like an inviting, you know, everybody was just like in a good mood when you walked in. Everybody, all the employees and everybody was all joking with each other. You know, it just made it very accommodating to walk in there. I mean, I already knew people that worked there, but the fact of the matter is, it's just like, to see that firsthand, what I've been through for the last 13 years, I'm like, you know, they could learn a lot from just walking into this place just for 5 minutes and seeing how probably why this company doesn't have such a high turnover, you know, because right now the only people they're going to be able to hire for this is people they're going to start finding out what turnover rate really is, because most of the people that work there now have been there for like 15, 20 years and they're about ready to bounce anyways. But
just on my chat, too good for beats. Too good for beats. If you want to come and join us, I just put the X link in my Twitch chat. You're more than welcome to come and join us on the X side. Highly, that way Rebel knows that you're talking, because he had mentioned that he works at Walmart. And I want to ask, and that's why I mentioned it, was because I want to ask, do you enjoy working at Walmart? Like, are they, because we were talking about it, like, are you enjoying what all Walmart offers you for incentives, even though that they are not unionized, or that they battled it basically and won, not getting unionized, which is usually a company just threatening the employees of firing.
yeah.
Or firing the dude that talked about unions.
Well, I mean, because I worked for Walmart when I was in my, you know, in high school. I was a stock boy, and just
Walmart back then.
Oh yeah,
what?
Yeah, at Walmart.
How long is I thought Walmart was only in existence from like maybe the beginning of the 2000s. Like, wasn't it known as like Kmart?
No, it's always been Walmart.
What about? Did you guys have a Zellers?
It's a jewelry store.
Your Zellers was a jewelry store?
Yeah.
Our Zellers up here in Canada was like a Kmart. Like, it was like the opposing competition of Kmart.
Oh no, our Kmart's all went bankrupt down here.
Yeah, so they up here they closed down.
No, but yeah, Walmart's been around since what, 80, 89, 88, 89. I actually got to shake the hands of Sam Walton, you know, because it's the one that created Walmart. He created it from a 5 and dime store he used to have in Inola, Oklahoma, which is only like 45 minutes away from where I'm at.
That's cool.
You know, it was a little 5 and dime store, and then it or 5 and dime like country store, and it just, I don't know exactly the whole story how I got, but it started out that way and just kind of grew. And he went into shopping centers, and then used to be just we used to close down at 11 o'clock at night and open back up at 7 the next morning. There was no 24-hour services back then, or for Walmart anyways. Just
for my chat and me adding it chat into X here, I'm smoking Runts, Forbidden Runts.
Forbidden Runts.
Runts, yeah. It is a hybrid of Forbidden. No, of Runts and of I can't remember.
No, but I know when I first started work, I worked for Walmart when I was 18, so it was like 90, 91. I just got out of high school, and I worked there as a stock boy, and we had a dress code. You had to go in a dress shirt and khaki slacks. Khaki or blue slacks. So, you know, Dockers, I don't remember if you remember Docker brand, but they allowed the Docker brands, but you had to dress business casual to work there, even as a stock boy. Now the cashiers, they could wear khakis and a t-shirt because they always had a smock over them, but as a stockman, you had to be a dress shirt, either a polo or button down, and khaki slacks and dress shoes. You would carry shit out to people's cars dressed like that. So that's what I'm saying. The big difference between the way it used to be and the way it is now, it's where you could go in holy fucking jeans and ripped up t-shirts, and work there now. And, and pink dyed hair and nose rings, nothing against, the style, but, it's just the big changes of how corporations back in the day used to respect you know, their employees, and that's one thing is too, you know, they wanted you to be respectful. They wanted you to be obedient, but I mean, it was fun working there. I had a blast. My manager was fun. For a big corporate store, my manager was a blast to get along with. The employees, I didn't have a problem with. And we had fun afterwards. You know, a lot of us were about the same age, so we'd always go out and party afterwards. So we always had a group, kind of like the movie Waiting, or not Waiting, or Waiting and Employee of the Month type thing, those kind of groups. But that's what I'm saying. Things have changed so much. It's like now you see, you know.
Yeah, but customer service is a high thing. Like, for instance, I worked for restaurants, right? I was a cook, a waiter, a hostess, and stuff like that. Actually, I've never become a hostess because I had tattoos, which I think is in a way of like, what's the point? You know, like, just because I got tattoos doesn't mean that I can't do the job.
Yeah.
And back in the 90s and 2000s, I had to cover up my tattoos. I only had the one at the time, but I had to cover it up with an opaque shirt so that you couldn't see the ink through the shirt. It's like, really? Is it really, like, does anybody really think that I'm an unhygienic person because I've got snake bites for rings? Like, I have to take care of these every goddamn fucking day. I gotta take care of my plugs every goddamn day. So that means that I am probably way more hygienic than you are.
Yeah.
You know, in the sense that I've got to make sure that this shit doesn't get infected.
Yeah.
So, like, and
No,
tattoos,
but, yeah.
like, are you gonna really, like, if you have a person in this day and age that's got fucking dreads and a bunch of piercings in their noses and their eyebrows and in their lips, does that really affect your dinner?
Some people it does. I mean, me it don't. I could care less what. Because like I said, but I'm one of those that doesn't. I'm not about looks. I'm about personality and character. So, I mean, it's just like
if
our.
you've got somebody who's being attentive, being polite, being respectful, you know, making sure that your accommodations are achieved, right? That's all that fucking matters.
Yeah.
You could look the weirdest all you want, as long as I get my food and get respected, and then give you a tip after.
Yeah, as long as there's no hair in my food, we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, that's what I'm saying. The difference between the culture of the culture of business back in the 90s compared to the business culture today. I mean, I can honestly see why a lot of places are going automated. I mean, it's just like Chick-fil-A. Look at Chick-fil-A's history. Chick-fil-A's probably got about one of the most organized form of management styles, even though I still think they're a cult, but they're one of the most profitable stores for only being open 6 days a week. You know, they don't open on Sundays. They make enough money throughout the week that they don't have to open on Sundays. Just selling a chicken sandwich. You know, but they're going automated. They have automated stores that they're starting to build now to where not really fully automated. They'll have a kitchen staff, but they're not going to have a wait staff. So basically, you order it off your app, and because everything's on an app now, you order it off your app, just kind of like if you would DoorDash or Grubhub or whatever, and then you would just go pick it up. That's all they have is they just have a pickup spot. Kind of like a Little Caesars. I don't know if you know what Little Caesars is, but
yeah, I mean, I kind of I saw a video recently of a guy like receiving a package from groceries from Amazon drone, where it like literally drove to his house, dropped down a little carry basket thing, and then flew away. I want to get delivered by something like that, man. I want to be standing outside my fucking door and looking up, and then somebody like, "What are you waiting for?" Just
my
wait.
food.
Yeah, just wait.
But I see, that's what people don't understand. There's a problem with that. I mean, right now it's not a problem, but if you have every business in the world doing that, you know how much congestion in the air there will be. I mean, you would have to have like everybody like set up on some type of a deliver. I mean, the FFA would go crazy trying to
fishing at a dock, man.
Exactly.
Cross lines.
Yeah. Drones running into each other and have an
wait a minute. Let's twist this. That's your package. This is my package.
But because they follow GPS, I mean that's how they do it. They just follow GPS. But
What
so,
if you're paranoid of like drones, right? In a package, and all of a sudden you're not realizing that while you're holding your phone, that thing's gonna follow you wherever you fucking go.
well, that's one thing too. I mean, it could be based off of your phone location because I know what was it that they found out. I seen something about that about. I can't remember what it was, but basically the way it worked was off of your phone. They tracked your phone. Oh, it's the like the traffic alerts and stuff like that. The maps that sit there and show heavy congestion on roads and highways when you see them. It's tracked off your cell phone. So if they have a lot of cell phone pings on those certain streets, that's how they track the congestion. So it's like you could like have like 1,000 phones on one big ass flatbed and just stick it out in the middle of a fucking interstate somewhere and be the only truck and think that people were congested there.
You know what? With this whole like paranoia over the government tracking us and stuff like that, I don't know why there's even a paranoia. When you're witnessing the Kinect, for instance, Microsoft's technology, the Kinect, they were already mapping.
Mm-hmm.
They were already mapping. The cameras that we have today with the AI are already mapping. Your little OBS bots, they're fucking mapping the shit out of you.
Oh yeah.
They are mapping the shit out of you. If you think for one moment that the government needs that video from your OBS bot because you committed a crime, that they won't be able to get it.
Oh, just look at Ring cameras. I mean, look at them. You know, those went wild. I mean, even now that Ring came out and said that they're not going to cloud base any of the footage anymore. You know, supposedly.
Like, hopefully OBS bot is like secure, but if it's not, then you guys are literally like enabling condo boys into your fucking house.
Well, I mean, you have the option to turn.
You
have the option to turn Wi-Fi off. No, I mean
it's been proven that Wi-Fi can be hacked by AI and be turned on through Wi-Fi.
But it's kind of funny because these OBS bots, because I have two of them. I have a pan camera and then I have this one. And when you pull up the software, it has an option to keep the microphone on all the time or shut it off. So it's just like, why would you power down the camera but still want the microphone to be operating? You know, it's just kind of, I mean, it's just like your laptop cameras, you know, they've been, you know, ever since the day that they came out. I mean, you can get an email from an email address that you know that has a hidden file in it. And as soon as you click on it, you know, it's implemented into your system and you can control it. That's how I got hacked with my Discord a few years ago. I clicked on a link and it fucking took my entire desktop. It took my entire computer.
Triple Trey, I pinned a message at the top of my chat.
Trey!
Please come and check us out on X. I'd much appreciate if you did. That way we can get some traffic here on X. Because we're trying to get some traffic. Oh, I see Cemetery Gate, and I just opened up the fucking comments to see.
Yeah, he was over on Rumble.
Yeah, he's on Rumble. I do not have a Rumble opened up right now. So.
But yeah, I mean, government tracks us one way. I mean, if you look at your cell phone, it's just like when it powers down, you know, when the battery dies and you put it back on the charger, it sits there and has mine. Anyways, my iPhone says it still can be tracked. You know,
tracking has been going on since the fucking good old days. You know, like the mug shot, fingerprinting.
Oh yeah,
and you know, your birth certificate is a form of tracking.
I mean, just like I was telling you before, you know, like we were talking about the dude from Catch Me If You Can, you know, that the actual dude that did it wrote those checks. You know, the only reason why they caught him is because they finally used the checks that he was forging to track him in certain areas. But I don't know. I mean, we're living in a digital age, and then, like I said, you know, I can see why our parents were like, you know, this shit's gonna be, you know, the end of us is by all the social media, all the tracking, everything else. Now, do I believe like TikTok tracks you? No, TikTok uses their algorithm uses your
growth.
Yeah,
Your growth.
uses the way you do things, your mannerisms and stuff like that, and
What
tracks you and pushes more stuff out to you so they can make more money on certain
And
things.
they're a bit of thieves. I've heard that TikTok are a bit of thieves. Okay, so like for instance, I follow Stoner Gump on TikTok. Right? He's like one of my favorite stoner dudes, and he's got a book out. Right, like he wrote a book on how to bake and cook with cannabis.
Mhm.
And TikTok then took his book and put it on their marketplace and undercut him basically.
Yeah.
Which, wow, that's nefarious.
Yeah, I mean, because
That
I was
great promotion there, man.
going to start a TikTok shop for some of my merch stuff that I do, and yeah, they want you to go through you have to set price breaks what they want you to set. You have to do all this. So basically, you ain't making any money whatsoever selling shit off of TikTok for yourself. Now, if you sell it for other people, you might make some money, but if you're selling your stuff, I think in the long run, you're not going to be making any money. But I don't know. Shit's going downhill. I mean, we've been going downhill in the handbasket for a long, long time.
Oh,
I mean, if you got,
did you see Baron Trump?
He's
on video now. Oh
yes,
my
I've seen
God.
him. I think he's out. He's
Oh
out
my God.
campaigning
I feel like
for.
the Antichrist is coming fruition. The child just fucking raised his hand.
Well, it's like I said. Even if Trump
Even
don't
looks
do.
like him. He looks like a younger version of Trump.
I mean, even if you don't. Well, I hope so. He's his kid, but if you don't, I mean, he's got.
I get Omen vibes, man.
He's got the he's got his other 3 kids too that are all in the political scene.
Look at him directly. I feel.
I mean, his daughter's the one that runs. His daughter's the one that runs the RNC.
Just saying, I would not want to look at Baron Trump in the eyes because I feel like my family would all of a sudden just start jumping off a cliff.
Nah.
That kid looks like the Omen child. And I've watched way too many of those movies.
Well, look at Hunter Biden. He looks like his dad when he was younger. He's almost a spitting image to his dad when he was younger.
If his dad was on crack, yeah, maybe.
Well, I'm sure his dad probably was on crack because that was the time. It actually was probably heroin or coke. But it's probably the reason why, he's all fucked up today besides the surgeries that he's had since he's been in office. Did you hear where they're trying to sit there trying to nail down why this Parkinson doctor made like 14 visits or something to the White House throughout his presidency? Now they're trying to say that it's not a coincidence anymore that Biden has Parkinson's.
I think that there's more. I think it's funny that there's more talk about Biden's mental stability or like his state of mind or whatever, like whether he's got dementia, Parkinson's, or whatever, and nobody's talking about Donald Trump and Epstein and the fact that Donald Trump was named in a fucking court case of a woman that was allegedly raped at 12 to 13 years old by both of them.
Yeah, but you know what? The reason why they're not pushing that is because they're just as guilty as he is. Because I guarantee that there's a lot of names on that list that are still sitting in seats right now in the House and the Senate and other agencies.
Yeah, but then that's the kind of information that we want. That's the drain of the swamp that was supposedly inputted on that. So we're gonna drain out the it's just.
I mean, he's not going to be the only one. I mean,
the guy stumbles on words. The guy fucking has speech impediment as it is already, and he's old as fuck, right? Then stop fucking hiring old people.
Oh, I agree, but who? I mean, like I said, who we got coming up? I mean, the ones that we do have coming up have no worldly experience. You know, they
That
don't
was the
have.
same excuse up here in
foreign
Canada
policy.
about fucking hiring Justin Trudeau.
I mean, look at that. Look at
No
that.
experience.
Who's that one? They just
college
they just hired that one, or they just elected that one kid over there in the UK. Who was that?
Yeah, but you know, it's old people not backing new ideas. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It is old philosophies overpowering new ideology.
22 years old.
Great. Maybe he can do a great job, you know, and be like fucking in his 30s making great decisions and in his 40s making great decisions. What?
I'm not doubting it. I'm just sitting there saying it's just like, I mean, it's starting to happen.
A little bit like a mastermind.
Yeah, that's what everybody's like. Comment is like, what the fuck is wrong with his head, dude?
He looks like Harry Potter.
Maybe he's got the wizard wand that's gonna cure everything.
Yeah, he's got elf ears.
See, you're making fun of him now, and so it's like
I'm not. I'm just seeing things. Like, look, his ear.
But 22 years old, elected as the MP with a razor thin majority. Said he does not want to. He said he does not want his age to be a focus on heading to Westminster. But
he won by like a thin margin, right?
Yeah. Let me see if I can find his speech, because he made a speech.
Hey, they hired. Why is his ears like that? Look at his ear.
Here we go. You'll get a kick out of this one then.
To travel a really
okay, now
schools, sixth forms of local schools closing and leaving lots of people having to travel a really long
Now I'm
distance
starting
to
to
get
really
schools in the
believe
morning.
that there's like Elven in the UK.
Here's a better one.
I grew up in quite a deprived rural area in the northeast of England, and kind of over those years saw quite a lot of things declining around me, so high streets in particular and schools, sixth forms of local schools closing and leaving lots of people having to travel a really long distance.
You need to pause this for a minute. I got a question. Okay, somebody alter his head like that?
Now, usually when
hey, wait, like, is that his real head?
Yes.
I'm not believing that that's his real head.
No, it is.
Okay,
like, so people, kids, or got people that have heads like that are usually.
He looks like a Megamind right now.
Usually, because they used to use they use the little salad spoons to pull a lot of times back in, I don't know if they still do, but that was like they use salad spoons.
You think that he's a forceps child?
Yeah. They just went it was a little bit spongier than normal. I'm trying to give a bit of the doubt. Come on, dude.
You guys better be retweeting this stream, man.
And I never really made the connection to politics for a couple of years after that, when I was in the cohort of students, the first one whose A-level results were cancelled during the pandemic.
You said Hogwarts, right?
And as a result of that, I became a lot more interested in sort of what's going on.
Oh, Howie. Yeah, it's like, Jesus Christ, look at the size of the head. Julio looked at, can you imagine?
Somebody needs to animate like some type of like owl landing on his shoulder at that point.
Did aliens send underness? You should be able to translate that. There we go. What does it say? The aliens among us. Sam Carlton has been elected to the Labour MP for Northwest Cambridgeshire, and spoke to the BBC Breakfast about being the U.S. politician in the House of Commons. I mean, it's a good thing. I mean, you can't make fun of him because you got your wish. You have the young generation coming into Congress now, so it's just not here. But 22 years old, that's what I'm saying. This is what Mr. Beast needs to do. This is what Mr. Beast needs to do. He needs to run for office in North Carolina, South Carolina, wherever the fuck he lives, and I'm sure he'll get hired. I'm sure he'll get elected as a congressperson down there.
The idea that this kid is a very smart kid. He got over his cosplay area of wearing like Sprite ears.
Yeah.
And he took them off and fucking decided to run for governor.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to make an excuse of why his ears look like an elf.
But I mean, that's what I'm saying though. It's just like, if you want the young people to come in, this is how you get started. You don't just sit there and like, oh, if I could run for president. No, it's that would be like the entitlement crowd. That's what it reminded me when I heard that comment. It's like, oh, if it was younger age, you still wouldn't get elected. I'm sorry, you wouldn't.
Like the villain from fucking Green Lantern.
Mr. Beast would have probably got a lot of the young vote, but not enough to count for anything because all of the older generation was like, nah, he has no idea what's going to be happening to him. But, he needs to run for Congress, Senate seat, run for Congress, run for state representative, run for even his local council. I mean, I can see if hell, run for the mayor of his local city.
I mean, look, Cumberbatch's love child did.
Yeah. So. But, I mean, to all the critics out there that, the one that criticized my post because of what would you do? Like, I never said I was going to do anything. But you know what? I've never said I was going to do anything. I never said, this is what I think needs to happen. I'm just sitting there saying this is what I feel has gone wrong and somebody needs to correct it. So I know I don't have the ability to do it. And plus, I'm one of those old people now, But I would probably get fired too. I'd probably be impeached the first week I was in there because I would not be obedient, that's what I'm saying. That's why so many people, it's just like, I think the reason why Trump is still so popular right now is for the fact is like he goes, because we all knew he was not a politician going in. That's the reason why they were able to, that's the reason why they basically picked on him for the entire time he was in office is because he would not comply and he would not be obedient to the ones that actually rule the country, so. But he, just like he said now, he goes, I didn't know how the game was played then. I know how it's played now. He goes, so if this happens this time, he goes, I'll know what to do better. So we'll see. If it happens, it happens. But will it happen in 4 years? Probably take a miracle to get things back to where it was, even close to where it was, even a smidgen to where it was before all this crap happened. But
again, I'm in the process of still reading Project 2025, and I filled out that form to get Project 47.
There is no hard copy of Agenda 47.
No, but they do send you a website form.
Yeah, it's his website. You just go to the Trump website and read it off of there.
Anyways, and if that stuff comes for fruition, I don't know if you're going to enjoy living in your country after that. I think it'll be a whole different country.
I mean, I look at it this way.
I think capitalism and corporationism will take over a lot more than anything.
Fuck, we're already there. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I know, but like there are at least people trying to fight that for equality, right?
Yeah, I mean, unless they get rid of the checks and balances,
every time that they try to fight for that equality, those corporations then hike the prices up to make people fucking blame the big honchos that are trying to make that fucking change.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening now. I mean, like I said, look at the housing. The housing market is a good example. The commodity.
Food. Trying
to
how
find.
Else are you going to influence a crowd of people to fucking hate on your government and then
1984.
Jacking up the prices of food.
All you got to do is watch the movie 1984, and you'll get a good idea what's going on right now.
Fahrenheit 451, man. When you've got people fucking burning your fucking books and stuff.
No, 1984 is a more adaptation of what's going on right now.
I feel like both are a great adaptation. Fahrenheit 451 is an adaptation of the world being so fast that people don't fucking notice what the changes that are going around that the corporations are doing.
Well, you don't have to read a movie or that. All you got to do is open Twitter and open up fucking YouTube and open up your news.
Like, how often has anyone now... Literature is being erased off the earth right now, which is
that's because,
amazing rate.
The reason why is because you have, just like I said in the beginning, you have all these fucking people behind their keyboards whining and crying on Twitter, whining and crying on TikTok, whining and crying on Instagram, whining and crying on Facebook, and they don't get off their fucking computers to do anything. They are the ones that are causing the issue because nobody will get off their fucking ass and go down and sit in front of their Capitol and protest.
But I'll tell you something. How many books do you have at home? Like actual books, you know, that you can like
never had time to read. I haven't read in forever.
Well, now you get the chance to take some time and like order a book from Amazon and read it.
You got to buy it for me? You got to have money to order shit. I don't have any money right now.
You hear that, folks? He may not say it, but you hear that? This dude is so generous to people. Like, seriously. Like, I've seen this dude fucking give away his life for fucking humans. And I know that he's giving away his life away in the sense of, you know, like, there's probably been tight moments after giving.
Yeah, but always have a positive out. Something always happens. It's like my wife was all, as I told my wife today, it's just like, you know what? I'm not as stressed as I thought I was going to be if this day ever came. Yeah, I mean, I worry about it, but I know I have alternatives. I'm just weighing out my alternatives until using it as a last resort alternatives on some of them. But I mean, and that's one thing is there's always a way to make money. You know, you can, I mean, even if it means going to fucking McDonald's flipping hamburgers or going to fucking, you know, going out on my own and fucking working in the construction trade, you know, I can do that too. But it's like, I mean, there's always a way, but I'm, like I said, I took a few days just to kind of recollect and see if it was actually just me, but it's just like, you know, yeah, I feel a little, I'm not as stressed now as I normally am, even when I had a job, when I was trying to figure out how to get to the next paycheck, you know? Yeah, my dog, I don't know, my little puppy, I don't know what her problem is.
I'm not stressed anymore. I've got a job that's paying me the same amount of money that I was making welding, and I'm not going to be welding. My arms are fucking sore as fuck. My legs are sore.
Well, and if I get this other job, you know, it pays better. It's a more realistic schedule, and I don't have to work weekends anymore. So
the place that I got, I believe that their benefits and everything. That they have
the benefits
really good. And I get a raise after 1,000 hours. I don't know how long it takes to get to 1,000 hours, but you know, like you take a day at a time. Right?
Yeah.
So 8-hour days. How many times 1,000?
You know, it's just like, so me and one of the other guys that I used to work with that works up at the company that I applied with, that you know, it's one thing because we used to get bonuses every Christmas. And they were good bonuses, but you know, they kind of last year was kind of a letdown because they were a lot smaller than normal. And this year, I guarantee you're probably going to be a lot smaller than normal. But, you know, sometimes it's not, you know, the bonuses always were great at the end of the year because you could always plan for, you know, to either play catch up at the end of the year or you could, you know, do something else. But, you know, sometimes money is not worth your well-being and your mental state. You know, would I love to be able to do this full time? Yes. Am I able to do it now? Probably not, because I still can't get my mind focused. My mind's the biggest focus. I can sit here all day long and write scripts for YouTube videos and everything else. And when it comes time to hit the record button, I'm like, I start working on something else. It's like, fuck.
I'm dealing with that too. You know, like I have, gotta be honest with you, man. Like, I've got a lot of plans for a lot of jokes I've revisited, you know, like in my sets and stuff like that. But to sit down and write them out has been tedious in my head. You know? To sit out and write them out in my notebook so that on my phone, so that when I go and do it, you know, like I've got it fresh in my mind. Like I've got a few that I've changed over the years or over the months, but still haven't done an open mic yet. I think I am trying to create something when I do my stand up, right? Like I want to create something. I just don't want to tell people what I'm creating.
And say, you know, it's a funny thing. You talk about that. It's like when we sit here and talk, I can go off on a rant on a subject that I want with you sitting there listening. But if I try to do that solo, it just like comes, it doesn't come out. It's
yeah,
funny.
it's just saying, like, I can take tons of video. Like, I am quite creative enough to like come out with like videos and stuff like that, where you and scripts like you're talking about. I just, yeah, man. Uh, Worrying about other things right now are my top priorities, and I think that a lot of people don't put their priorities in place that they need to, and realize that the good efforts that they put in, the priorities that they need to, will always serve a manifestation of the good things that come from the other things we're trying to do.
And I think a lot of my reasons too is it's like, even though my job wasn't like totally hard, but the fact of the matter of where I was at, knew I wasn't welcome there, in a way. I think it just put so much stress, and then dealing with the general public, traffic, driving, and everything else. By the time I got off of work, I was just shot. I didn't. And by the weekends, I was even worse.
I'll be right back. My cat has been.
Well, I'm getting ready to bounce off here anyway. So.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, my cat is bugging me. I think that my wife needs something from me.
Yep.
She only comes in here when my wife needs something from me. So. You guys have a wonderful evening. I'm going to still be on Kick and on Twitch. Please come check me out. My gun is huge. Guys, this dude here does a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. He does.
I appreciate you.
You guys have a great night. Hopefully you come on and play some Call of Duty with me later.
Yeah, I probably will. I'll probably be up for a while, considering I slept in again this morning. All right. We'll talk to you soon.
I'm going to try getting Action Man to play Call of Duty with me.
Go for it.
I'm going to try.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you guys being here. Like I said, make sure you go over to our website and check it out over there, because we're going to be adding a lot of stuff to it. Let me get this back to where it needs to be. But it's rebelnationmedia.net. Just go over there. Check it out. We're still building on it. The front page is done. We have a store up. There's some merch over there, some shirts and stuff like that. There's also, we'll be building like a members only page. So if you guys want to go and sign up, it's free to sign up right now. But we're going to try to start streaming special conversations and stuff over there once I can get the stream to work correctly. And yeah, just go over and enjoy. Podcasts are up over there. Hit the little podcast link at the top, and you can listen to some of our conversations that I put up there. I'm putting some up as I go along and get them edited. We have a shit ton, considering we do this 3 days a week. But also make sure you join us in on Friday night. We have Lily Gaddis on. She'll be coming on. We're not going to be talking about her rise to fame. I mean, it might be like a brief thing in the beginning, but everybody knows how she got there. That's not what I'm interested in talking about with her. I believe she's got a no fucks given attitude, and I like that in people. I think we need more people like that. And basically, back it was in the 70s, fight the man. I'm just joking. But anyways, you guys have a good rest of your Wednesday night. Enjoy. And for you guys down in Texas, if you guys are watching or close to there, I hope you guys are safe and get everything back in order with all the destruction and everything else. But we will see you guys. I don't know. We might do a surprise one tomorrow night. We'll see. But if not, we'll see you Friday night. You guys have a good rest of your night.